It's time for the best pubcast around. Grab a cold one, sit back, and enjoy the show. This is Corner Pub Sports.
Hey, this is Brian Dawkins, and you're looking at Corner Pub Sports.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Corner Pub Sports.
Fuck with my ass, man. Shit.
Yes, that's what you are! You are the motherfucking Antichrist!
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Corner Pub Sports coming at you here live on a Friday night.
Yo!
We're on Facebook, YouTube, X, Blue Sky, all those places. And then, of course, if you're downloading the show, we thank you guys, our incredible subscribers. We thank you so much on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all those places. Thank you so much. Tonight, we got a special show lined up for you. You can see two new faces on the bottom. You can see another face here on the panel with us. We are doing our first ever NFC East Roundtable. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
I don't know how this is going to go. None of us knows how this is going to go, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We got representatives from each team. I'll introduce you guys in a second here. But yeah, basically, we're just going to go around and talk about the status of our teams and where we are and how we're looking going forward and how this season went, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of questions about your, things like team name and, certain people should get in the Hall of Fame on the first try and other stuff like that. We're going to have all kinds of conversations. So let me start with Al here. Al's on the panel. Al's been on the show before, but just so everyone knows who Al is, Al, if you don't mind introducing yourself and telling everybody why you became a Cowboys fan.
Oh, boy, this story again. Okay. I am Al. I am a Cowboys fan, and I'm 107 years old. And back in the day, they didn't have blackout channels. So in the 70s, all you could watch was the Steelers or the Cowboys. So basically, watch the Cowboys and stuck with them through the horrible, horrible years of the 80s and early 90s were horrible.
Terrible.
We won literally 4 games in 2 years.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. So we have of the Sleevie G podcast, Mr. Alex Gomez, diehard Giants fan, joining us. We've been waiting for this for a while because Alex and I have been going back and forth for a couple months here, and we finally have an opportunity to get him on. Sleevie G, is a great podcast. It's awesome. He goes through all kinds of subjects. We had a great conversation months ago when my book came out, and and we've been hitting each other up ever since. So why don't you tell the people about yourself, dude?
Well, last name is definitely Gomez. First name is Alex, as you know. Everyone's called me Gomez for God knows how long. Sleevie G became a reality. I was in another podcast called Playlist Wars with my best friend. As our kids got a little older, his kids got older, mine were just getting younger. Hiatus happened, but we both have our 2 separate podcasts. I had to think of a name. I wear cutoff shirts when I did my interviews. Today it's just because I'm wearing my Giants jersey, so I gotta give props up to my Giants jersey. And Sleevie G Show was born, and I talk topics, sports, music, movies, raise awareness, support people who got books coming out like you did, and things like that. And it's just been a awesome ride this year. 2024 was a huge spike for me. A lot of special guests, a lot of big names too. As a Giants fan, I did have Super Bowl champ Leonard Marshall on the show, which was a huge highlight for me. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more as I'm trying to get connected with some of the Giants. That's a keyword, hopefully. But having a blast, having fun, and it's been an honor to come on here, Sean, with you guys tonight. I've been waiting for this one for a while.
Well, you said that a little early, Gomez, but welcome.
And then finally, last but not least, that leaves us with Mr. Eric Esworthy, who is obviously repping the Washington football team.
Redskins
football.
Redskins.
I know. The Washington Redskins. He refuses to call them the Commanders.
Like me. There we go.
Yeah,
Eric,
right?
we have that in
I-
common. I hate that.
I hate that.
Sorry,
too.
y'all. I respect it, but I can't get behind it.
Yeah.
I can't get behind it. I will always be a Redskins fan, and I honestly think it did more harm than good. That's just my opinion. Now, that being said, do they have a team? Yeah, they do have a team. I'm just not a fan of the name.
Yeah.
But
So
how I
you-
got into it, how
Yeah.
I became a Redskins fan, my dad got me into the Washington Redskins. He was a diehard fan since he was in the service, and he became a fan. And then get this, because he loved the colors.
Interesting.
Burgundy and gold, baby. I mean, I guess it worked.
There you
But
go.
yeah, I've been a fan ever since. But yeah, when they changed the name, I could have lived with the Washington Football Club. I just could never get behind the Commanders. It just doesn't have that oomph behind it.
I agree.
You know, and a big W versus a chief head. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just doesn't cut it for me.
We got a message from one of our loyal listeners here, Dave Peterson. Good evening, gentlemen. May 2025 be the year where your heart leads and your dreams follow. 2025 a year of making memories, reaching milestones, celebrating victories. Happy New Year. And then we got Phil Mikowski. And Happy New Year to you guys as well, and especially Dave. Thank you, man. Phil said, "Is tonight going to be sponsored by Advil or Aleve?"
Maybe I don't know.
Probably.
We got Jamie Zimenoff, who's a friend of ours. Al is not allowed to wear Giants gear. He will jinx us. So we have a couple Giants fans who are going to be tuning in.
It does look like a Giants jersey.
It's not a Giants jersey, man. It's a Evan Smith.
That's actually, from just a football perspective,
It's a badass jersey.
that's a badass jersey.
Yeah, it is. And then we got Mark saying, yeah, Redskins. And he said, yeah, that name's Scalp It. So, yeah. And Polsky's saying Happy New Year. Another year being a #1 fan. Dude. All right. So there's a battle between Mark and Jay going back and forth.
Is Jay listening? No,
Oh, yeah, he's on. Yeah, Jay's listening. Yeah, Jay chimed in. So tonight's going to be a lot of fun. When we first brainstormed this whole thing, and he said, go CPS 10 years. Yep. Thank you very much, man. And you know, why we're talking about that real quick. I've talked about it before the last few weeks. March 29th, Saturday afternoon, Sandy's roast beef and Al Langhorne, Corner Plus Sports, roast beef, best food in the area.
Sandwich
Oh
ever.
my
The
God.
roast beef sandwich. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Great beer, great staff. We're having our 10th anniversary party there. We have some special guests who are going to be joining us, some media members, some former athletes. So come on out Saturday, March 29th at Sandy's Roast Beef and Ale in Langhorne. More on that later.
I was going to say, if I go, am I going to get scalped wearing my Giants jersey?
No.
Nah.
You'd be all right. You'd be
I
all
just
right.
want to make sure. You know what I mean? If I can take the day off, I'm going to and come out.
You'll get shit. I mean,
You'll get shit, but
Oh,
we'll
yeah, you're
laugh.
but you're not
you'll
going to
be-
get scalped. Like, you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine.
You'll be okay.
Well, trust me, when they see a 330-pound Cuban who's 6'2", they might be you're like, never mind, we'll leave him alone.
No, it's all right.
So anyway, Mark, I got news for you. Jay is the #1 fan.
Ooh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to him?
Jay's the #1 fan.
Man, why?
Jay brought us beer.
Oh, Jason Mays.
Jason Mays. Oh yeah,
Jason
Jason
Mays.
Mays is the #1 fan. Yeah, he brought us beer. He's overtaken both Mark and Jay Parr.
Yeah, I gotta try that, man. So he got us.
Jay Parr, when you travel to Connecticut and bring us back beer, you can reclaim your throne.
So obviously, before we get into it, because this is what we do every week. Talk about what
Mark's the only one that comes live, though.
Yeah.
And he brings ribs. So
Yeah.
I think
I'm
I'll
just looking for good ribs.
Connecticut.
Yeah,
Connecticut.
yeah, but he didn't go to Connecticut for us. He was in Connecticut.
but he still brought us beer.
Still, but like he didn't make a trip
He
for
made a
us.
trip to Connecticut.
No, he didn't. He made a trip to Connecticut for
Ryan,
work.
shut the fuck
For
up. This
work.
is my dream.
And he was there.
He was in Connecticut to bring us beer. He told me.
Mark made a special stop for ribs and macaroni.
It wasn't Connecticut.
You test fucker. Special stop.
He did
All right.
make a special
Beer
stop.
is on the tap. Other drinks are on the tap. What are you drinking, Ryan?
Old Reliable, man. I'm with the rum and cokes.
Hey, where the Bacardi at?
Where the Bacardi at?
Captain
You know
Captain's
what's
foot.
funny though? Every week I come and I look down. I'm like, all right, I don't need that much. I'll be all right.
And it kills it.
And I look down and I'm a half a fucking pint in,
And you haven't started
We
yet?
haven't really started the show yet.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Al, what do you
It's not
got?
like it's snowing and I got to drive or anything.
No.
Oh, not yet.
That's a good point,
Captain,
bro.
Captain is Sprite for Al, and then Mike's got the.
I got the Treehouse Brewing, probably the best brewery in the world.
I could smell that.
I can't wait to try this.
The haze.
I could smell it.
Ugh,
That's
stinks.
Stinks.
What do you got there? What do you got, Gary?
The hazy little thing IPA by Sierra Nevada.
That's good beer.
That's what I was drinking right
That's
now.
good beer.
I got a Jameson orange and ginger or Sprite, whatever.
Can I try this beer from Connecticut?
You absolutely can. Yeah, it's
That's a community beer.
community beer.
Don't.
Sean, give me a glass.
Yeah, you can try. And then I know Alex, you said you're not drinking tonight, obviously.
No,
Yeah, you're getting
well,
all this-
I would have been drinking anyway. It doesn't matter. I would have been drinking bourbon, but I got my coffee because I was kind of falling asleep earlier today. At
Oh,
work.
Yeah.
wait until the show starts, and then you'll
Yeah,
realize-
like yeah. So one thing
Really
you two
sleeping.
guys are going to discover: the thing that surrounds our show is ADD.
Sale.
yes,
Like,
100%,
trust me.
100%.
I
I
believe it.
have a glass. What the fuck?
Get up and get it.
I'm sorry, I'm only running a fucking show here.
Listen, I actually watched some of the. I watched some of the shows before,
Yeah,
so I definitely I love the whole process with you guys on the show. So I've been
And
excited since Sean and I said we're gonna do it together. Do this. I was like, I can't wait. I've been pumped for it.
No, that's interesting.
Eric's just got the.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What was that?
Eric's got
You wanna try it?
Eric's got some vaping going on, right? No drinking, right? You don't drink.
Oh no! I got my Dr. Pepper, and then I got my my Gorilla Glue and bubble gum out in the other room.
Nice. All right,
Let's get a little drink.
let's
little
get
fun.
out of here. Let's start with opening statements. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first? Alex,
I'll go.
yeah, go for it, man.
So being a diehard Giants fan this year,
So I'm sorry. So by the way,
yeah.
so your opening statement, yeah, you can do ours. So opening statements, it's no interruptions, okay? So allow everyone to speak, allow them to give their piece, and then think about what they're saying because you might want to bring it up later in the Q&A, which will be next, all right? So everyone will get their turn to speak here, get a couple minutes to kind of rep their team and everything about your team and whatever you want to talk about. So go for it. Go ahead, Alex.
So as a Giants fan, it was a difficult year for me. 10 straight losses. It's cutting up Daniel Jones. My hatred towards Joe Shane and Brian Daboll happened during the lovely hard fucking knocks. Why? Because of what he said. Joe Shane says in the meeting with everybody, do I want to pay my running back $12 million who is established, who can run anywhere,
Right.
beat everybody, and truck people, and he's got tree trunks. The thighs are fucking tree trunks.
Yeah, he's not going to rush for 2,000 yards. Exactly what they said.
Yeah, and
He said not to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. It's okay. Listen, and I agree with him. That's one thing I don't like about Shane. So far, his picks have not been the best, except for Malik Neighbors. I'm going to give that much. I need John Mara to wake up and Tish, get your head out of your ass out of the movies, get your butt in the office, and start paying attention to the team. First of all, I feel bad for Daniel Jones because he showed some promise when the line was actually there to protect him. He actually had a pocket presence, but he didn't have a great line. And I felt bad for Saquon, and I'm happy. And I'm going to say this as a Giants fan. Listen, I was upset that he signed with the Eagles. I will say this. But as a fan of Barkley, still living in New Jersey, 40 minutes away from MetLife Stadium, as I still call it, Giants Stadium, frick the Jets, I'm happy what Barkley's doing with the Eagles. Okay? I respect the Eagles, and they're doing it without Jason Kelsey in center. 2,000 yards. Congratulations, Saquon. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad now Shane is eating his words probably right now. And John Mara said it. I'm going to have nightmares if Barkley goes to the Eagles. And guess what? He just did. And you know what? I hope Barkley does not sit on Sunday and runs it and breaks the freaking record. That's all I'm saying right now. I want him to break the record. as a fan of Barkley. I will say that.
Unfortunately, he is sitting.
Yeah, he is sitting.
He is sitting. But
They're saying that right now, but you know
Yeah,
that could change. You
Yeah,
never
he's
know.
sitting. He's sitting.
yeah.
We'll see. You never know.
They already named Tanner McKee to starter.
Oh,
They named Tanner. Okay.
Yeah.
He's sitting.
okay. But hey,
No, that's.
but listen, I think the Giants have to make some moves, and I think that I think right now it's starting is firing either Dable or Shane first. I'm going to go with Dable first. So I'm going to say that right off the bat. You got to fire the head coach. If anything, if Shane does right and actually does, if we win on Sunday, which that's going to be hard to say. That's a hard sell for me right now because the Eagles, even if you put the third string Eagles in there and, in the practice squad, I think the Eagles have a shot beating the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that would be best for you. Sorry.
No, that's all right. If a miracle happens and we do win and we drop to 9th in the draft,
Don't interrupt him, Mike. You fuck.
it's all right. I'm saying this because payback's always a bitch. I'll say this. I hope that Shane has a brain and trades for McCarthy right away. I think he would fit with the Giants system, and I think they'll do a little bit better. Not 100% better, but a little bit better. And that's my opinion as a Giants fan. So I'm hoping for the best for next year. But I'm glad I'm not a Jets fan. That's all I gotta say.
That'll at least give you a starting point, though.
It will.
If you trade McCarthy, like it gives you somewhere or something to start building around.
I think this. If the Giants drop to the 9th pick in the first round, trade it for McCarthy, settle in, and you got your second rounders. That's what I think. That's my opinion. That's what I would do if we win on Sunday. If you already know, if you're winning on Sunday, or start calling Minnesota, make the deal.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But again, hey, John Mayer, if you're listening to the show, hire me. I'm a smarter GM than Shane. I would have kept Barkley somehow. $12 million was worth every penny.
Feeding off what he just said, and I don't want to get too far off
Yeah,
topic, but the Vikings are going to re-sign Sam Darnold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if they don't, they're retarded.
He's an all-star.
Right.
He's a Pro Bowler. Yeah, I don't know how
it's Baker Mayfield all over again. They have to sign him, right?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's a good example.
Yeah.
Although
Baker
had a little bit more.
Yeah.
Baker had a little bit more of a pedigree than Darnold before.
Yeah.
But still, nonetheless.
So I'm gonna actually go to Al first and the reason why is because Eric, the Commanders right now are the other playoff team, obviously the NFC East. So
we're brushing aside the nobodies first.
Hey, at least I took it first. I took it in the chin first here, guys.
Good job, man. And you volunteered. No, it was good. It was good. Hold on, I want to do this. All right, opening remarks from Mr. Gomez there for the Giants. Very well done. It almost went uninterrupted.
Almost, but I'll take it because now paybacks always happen.
It sounds like he's been on a podcast before.
It's almost like that, right? It's almost like when you give someone rules, they follow them. It's almost like that. All right,
suck my balls, Sean.
All right, so
Give your balls a tug, you tent fucker.
All right, so now we're gonna go to Mr. Al Giagrante here. Al is repping a very nice Emmitt Smith Hall of Fame jersey. It is a very nice jersey. As much as
no matter what no matter who you're a fan of, if you're a football person, that's a badass.
Dude, I gotta tell you, like that, and I do like the Thanksgiving jerseys they wear.
Depends. Two different things.
The one with the white helmets and the blue star.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, I like those, man. Those are badass. Yeah. All right, so Al, your opening statements repping the Dallas Cowboys.
Well,
or hold on, should we let Gary do it since she? I don't know. Should we let Gary do it since he's such a big Cowboys fan?
Oh yeah, big Cowboys fan.
Gary.
In that era, I was.
Yeah. All right, I'm sorry. All right, Al, the floor is now yours.
I'm going to say this dumpster's fire started the second we let Quinn walk. Everyone made fun of him. Look what he's done in Washington. Okay, they should have fired McCarthy. They should have fired McCarthy and made Quinn the new head coach. That is far gone. And what did we do? We got Zimmer. as a defensive coordinator who apparently confused the living shit out of our complete defense because they had no idea what they were doing for the first 4 weeks of the season. The fact that we overpaid Dak is just a side note. Because of that, we're going to have trouble. Hopefully, we can still sign Parsons, who is pretty much all our defense.
It's going to be an Eagles.
Did he just interrupt me?
Eagles fly.
Did he just interrupt me?
Go ahead.
It was
Anyway.
warranted.
You keep dreaming, buddy. Thank you. I see him resigning. I'm hoping he resigns. Everything he's saying, he said he would take a discount to be a Cowboy. So that's what I'm hoping for.
That's what Barkley said too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
Buddy, you know what? I can't blame you either. That's just horrible. The fact that we have so much rebuilding to do. We have one wide receiver. We have a running back who's half decent. He got just over 1,000 yards. I'm not saying he's great, but he'll get the job done. We need to rebuild that offensive line. And the most important thing is Jerry Jones needs to leave.
I wanted to say that.
Go ahead. You can say something. Go ahead.
All right. No, I actually wanted to say that I think the big problem, and this is how I Hawkeye NFC East. I don't care about anybody else but the NFC East.
Right.
Okay. When Barkley went to the Eagles, I had a great feeling that the Eagles were going to be one of the hardest teams to beat.
Absolutely.
When Quinn left the Cowboys, I just said they're not going to be the same defense anymore.
Nope.
And especially when Drew Lock scores on the Cowboys.
No. The third string quarterback of the Eagles tearing us up is more
that too.
interesting.
Yep.
But I think Jerry
Yeah.
Jones just needs to be a freaking owner in the owner box, not a GM. I'm sorry.
Completely agree.
But
And
I'm going to say that like
I'm
the
glad he-
Cowboys, they can't have that much rebuilding to do. How many Pro Bowlers did they have?
Too many.
5.
They had 5 Pro Bowls.
Five
One
Pro
more than
Bowlers?
this.
Two of them-
One less than the Eagles.
Oh my God.
I will say this: 3 of them, well, 2.5. I'll say Parsons was hurt. He made it.
Parsons
But
deserved it.
Tyron
Parsons a Pro Bowl.
No, Tyron Smith hasn't been on the. He's a
Lamb-
Not Tyron Smith.
Lamb,
The,
Parsons, and Aubrey probably deserved it.
the one lineman they had, not Tyron Smith.
No, I don't remember the other 2, but I know. How many did you say they had? 5.
5.
I know they had Aubrey.
Aubrey
Deserves it.
deserved it.
That makes sense.
They had
Lamb.
Turpin.
Turpin,
Turpin.
The
The
returner.
returner. As it's a return, he's the best returner in the game.
Yeah.
And they had
Maybe.
Parsons, and I'm not sure.
I'm sure Lamb made it.
Lamb. Yeah,
Lamb had him made it.
Damn, Shannon. And you also have 9 losses and 7 wins. Damn. Damn.
Well done, Shannon.
Wow.
There you go.
All right.
She's not lying. What am I going to argue?
Connor,
No, it's like saying what my record is. Jeez.
my baby boy Connor had something to say about that. All right. That was Connor at 2 years old.
Good for him.
All right.
I agree.
Right?
Something we can all agree on,
Yeah.
except
All right. I owe Al an applause here. Good job, Al. Good job. All right.
But I think real quick in the draft.
Yeah.
What do we have? 15 now.
Something like that now, yeah.
I don't think they need to go after the kid from Boise State, although he is good.
Agreed.
He is great. I think the running back depth in this year's draft is enough where you can go after another position to shore up either that offensive line or draft someone that can help Parsons actually get to the quarterback. He can't be the only one.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
agree with that. I mean, you don't want to make the same mistake that you made with Zeke.
Right.
Right.
Although that is a Jerry Jones pick.
No, I mean, Zeke was great.
Yeah,
Winning
Zeke was
great.
Zeke
But
was
Zeke was a monster.
He was a good.
It was
He
it was a good
bad pick.
It was
a bad pick.
It was a good player, but a bad pick.
Bad
Yeah.
pick.
Oh yeah.
All right. So that gives the floor to Mr. Eric Esworthy, who's representing Washington. Eric, the floor is now yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, okay, as a Washington fan, I really think that we are poised to really challenge and make the NFC East competitive again. Okay, not that our games as rivals, all 4 of them, all of them have incredible rivalries. but there's a difference when they're competitive. Look at the NFC North right now. Okay. Case in point, it all boils down to the last game for them. Okay. Back in the day, it used to be like that for the Eagles and the Redskins. You know what I mean? The Cowboys, the Giants. It would come down to those last games against one another in the season. It doesn't happen like that much anymore. I think, I do think the Giants are going to make some moves, and not just with players, but in the offices. I really do. I really think that there's going to be some fallout because of the whole Saquon thing. I truly do. There has to be.
There's going to be. There's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you 100% on that. As a Giants fan, I'm saying that.
and as far as the Cowboys go, I couldn't have said it better to the gentleman who said Jerry Jones needs to step away. Okay, I really think his control, his lack of being able to manage, he doesn't manage well. He's got money, but he doesn't manage well. You know what I mean? He doesn't manage his assets well. Let's just say that. But I do think the Redskins are up. There I go. The Redskins are ready to really get in there. They have the personnel. Okay, it's amazing. We see it year after year, guys, when a quarterback comes in the draft and really shows out for a team. You know what I mean? There's not many that do it their first season, but Jaden Daniels, he's got the skills. He really does. He's got that raw talent. And the fortunate thing about Washington is that they have some supporting cast. You know what I mean? He's got receivers. He's got defense. You know what I mean? They got defense. Lattimore on defense, and he's got Ertz as a weapon. He's got so many different that aren't big names. You know what I mean? But they're everyday names that we hear day in and day out on Sundays. You know what I mean? Then they might not be Barkley caliber players. You know what I'm saying? But they're damn good players, and they show up. And this season's proof of it. You know what I mean? So I really think that Washington's gonna it's gonna be Philadelphia and Washington for about the next 3 years. And I give Dallas and New York probably about 3 years before they get to where they need to be contenders.
Not if they actually get a coach that can make the team change.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. And Dan Quinn, I couldn't be happier. Are you kidding me?
Dan Quinn. I like Dabble too.
You let a defensive coordinator from an NFC East rival come to a head coach and just wipe you. I mean,
kidding.
The whole backwards hat thing. Come on,
Be
real.
And we're gonna
I fucking hate it.
Rehashing some other coach that got.
I could not be happier with that move, but he's doing really good.
Yeah, if I was in a position where you're at, and we hired Dan Quinn, I wouldn't hate it. It's just the backwards hat. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah. All right, so Dave Peterson chiming in. All due respect, Mr. Esworthy, but sorry, but your team's early departure from the playoffs.
I'm not. I don't expect.
And you quote Philadelphia sports fans know well. There's always
100% honesty. I don't expect them to go far.
Well, look,
the fact that they made it. The fact that they made it. And this year with Jaden is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something. They had next year. They're going to be a contender.
Yeah.
If I'm a Washington fan, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jaden Daniels looks like a fucking stud.
Yep.
Can I do my SSCS now?
You want to do yours before Gary does his?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Let me bring that up. So Mike has an SSCS that has to do with the NFC East, and then we'll SSCS. You'll find out what that stands for if you don't already know. And then Gary will do his opening remarks for the Eagles.
Seeming swallowing cocksucker of the week. And this is why.
You cocksucker!
I'll punch you in the mouth.
So my SSCS is the Washington Redskins.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
Oh.
I know nobody cares about fantasy football. Nobody cares about your fantasy football team.
I do.
Yes.
I'm a champion. I won it.
I'm the champ.
I'm the champ right here.
You
We're
want
in St. Louis. Say it right here.
Yeah.
There you go, Sleevie G.
I
won it. And
I'm not even a third place team.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to thank Baker Mayfield for being the freaking gunslinger that he is.
Yes. You know who I don't want to thank? You know who I want to fucking kill? Terry McLaurin.
Oh,
man.
Terry McLaurin
Oh,
and his one catch for 5 yards in the third place game, which I know wasn't a championship, but at least I could have got my money back. No, this motherfucker, I'm up 2 points, right?
We'll all be a shit covered dick.
Up 2 points, right? I got McLaurin left. He's got a kicker. I'm fucking golden.
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
McLaurin not only plays 4 quarters, but they get the ball for 8 fucking minutes in overtime. The whole time they have the ball. He doesn't get targeted. So it's not just McLaurin, it's the Redskins. And it's Jaden McDaniels. Fuck that guy, because he didn't even target him. But, and then on top of it, the fucking kicker is terrible. Misses 2 50-yarders and an extra point. The extra point was the last
scary.
one of the
Terry
game.
must have got Jamie, too.
Yeah, I think Jamie lost to TJ.
Jamie got him. Oh,
Yeah.
did he
Jamie
really?
lost to TJ in our one league, I
Yeah.
And I do want to
I
say
had
one
the
thing.
quarterback, though.
As a Giants fan, if you want to know my number one wide receiver was AJ Brown from the Eagles.
think. Smart move.
It was mine.
But just the
My quarterback was Jaden Daniels.
Still a good quarterback. I had Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and Geno Smith, but I started Goff and Mayfield for almost the whole entire season.
Pretty good trio.
Yeah, I sat Purdy for Bo Nix, and that cost me 2.
You know what's funny? Purdy was on and off. I had Debo Samuel. My number one pick was Christian McCaffrey. I won the league without McCaffrey, guys.
Yeah.
But I had
I traded for McCaffrey and won the league without
I
him.
traded
traded
for him,
away.
and then I traded him for Justin Jefferson.
Well, what's great is that I had Brown from Cincinnati, Derrick Henry,
What's that?
No,
and Charbonnet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So the other thing I will say before we move on to the Eagles is I'm in watching that game, and I know it's a small sample size. First of all, I don't know how he's going to equate in the playoffs right now. And Jaden Daniels to me seems like a guy that goes one progression and looks to run. Like that'll work for a little bit in the playoffs. That's not gonna play.
Oh no, he's also a rookie though. Dude.
Yeah,
He's
and
a
I
rookie.
wonder,
He's a
like
rookie.
he needs to progress because
Absolutely.
we've seen that second year rookie,
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I mean, Richardson probably never really started last year, but he's got to progress.
Yeah. Like he's not a finished product.
He's
I
not a
don't-
finished product.
Yeah.
No, I mean he's got the chance, but I'm not ready to anoint him yet until I see him.
Right,
kinda
but like,
learn.
but if you're a Washington fan,
You got hope.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
right.
But again, thank God he don't play for the Jets.
Why?
'Cause
Why?
The Jets suck.
They just suck.
Well, I mean,
No, yeah.
Anyone who plays for the
so do the
Jets suck,
Giants.
and then they go.
The
Yeah,
Jets.
All right.
so do
You have a
so do the Cowboys.
wait. Giants are a better organization than the Jets, even though we're the same.
Bring that mic closer to you, dude. I can't hear you.
Yeah, you guys are second worst.
Yeah, they're first actually.
Hey, you're not the worst team. You're not the worst team that plays in that stadium. So that's something.
Yeah, they're second worst in the stadium, the second worst in the city, second worst in the NFL.
Baby
No, I mean,
steps,
there's
brother,
some bad
baby
ones.
steps.
Cleveland's pretty bad
So
too.
we got a Steelers fan here. Hello, ladies of the NFC East. Jason, thank you so much.
Yeah, ladies of it.
Yeah,
Number one
please.
fan chiming in.
Coming from a fan of a team that's always a fraud lately. Remember 10 and 0?
Remember?
Remember 10 and 3 this year?
We were 10-1 last year.
Okay, but you know,
I mean, but no, Jason, thank you so much for the Treehouse beer. dude.
Number
That's
one fan.
awesome.
yo, it's delicious. Thanks, Jay.
Very-
You know, I'm just busting your balls.
Should have sent some to Jersey.
All right, so Gary, the floor is yours to give your fucking. It's been a half hour.
All right.
Opening statements here.
All right, so we're
It's like a Trump trial.
only you get away with it.
Oh shit, man.
All right,
All
so
right.
we'll go back for the Eagles. We'll go back to the end of 2023 with the colossal detrimental collapse. Nobody expected that to happen, but it did. So then we'll go into the preseason, whatever you call it, of beginning of 2024. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We got fans are up in an uproar. The coach, we don't know if the coach is going to be able to be viable moving into this season. And then we make some moves. We lose some veteran leadership and
Cox and
Kelsey and Cox. As long as Kelsey's Cox don't hurt. You know what I mean? And then we get Saquon Barkley. And nobody knows what's going to happen in the beginning of the season. It's concerning because we're not playing well. The defense is not looking good. And then we get into the middle of the season, and this defense is the number one defense. They're like the number one. And we got this running back that is just lighting it up. But let's not get too far because he don't light that up without the offensive line we have. I think our offensive line is getting they don't get the respect that they deserve because they're not mentioned because of the running back, what he's doing. But that's understandable. That's what happens. So here we are. At the end of the season. NFC East champs, number 2 seed. What are we going to do in the playoffs? Let's see what happens. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Birds. Well done.
He beats Cox.
I was holding on to that one because of the Cox thing. Good job, Gary.
So to Gary's point, so the Eagles lose Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey. Probably 2 Hall of Famers, right?
Absolutely.
Their replacements made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Cam Jurgens and fucking Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter might be the best defensive tackle in football.
He's had a great season.
I will say this. Barkley did have a better offensive line, but he could break through and he could have the world's crappiest line, which has been proven. He could break anywhere. So that's why I think Barkley was a great pickup for you guys. And I hope, and I'm going to say this, I really hope if you guys see the Chiefs again in the Super Bowl, please win it. That's all I have to say.
It's weird. I actually thought about that earlier today. Because I'm going to say this. I mean, Gary did his thing. Now it's an open floor. Now it's a Q&A thing, and whatever. Now you can interrupt each other, whatever. So now we're having an actual discussion here. I'm just going to say this. When it comes to the Eagles and their path to the NFC East or the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, I do think they have a very legitimate shot. I do think they can beat the Lions. I know the Lions look good offensively, but their defense to me is trash. Their defense is trash.
They look terrible.
I'm more
their defense is better with injury.
The Vikings.
I'm more concerned about the Vikings than I am the Lions.
And that's a fair.
What, the Vikings defense?
The Vikings overall.
Actually, the Vikings defense is pretty
Sam
good.
Darnold?
Their defense is really good.
Sam Darnold?
Everyone's been saying that this year. They've only lost.
He's thrown for almost 5,000 yards, dude. He's got almost 40 touchdowns.
The Vikings had the number 1 defense in 2017 as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And
they did.
I get it.
But
as far as it's funny you said that, Alex, because earlier I was like, man, I want the fucking Chiefs again. I want the Chiefs again because I think the Eagles can beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year. I agree. But I don't know I don't think the Chiefs are making it.
Listen,
Buffalo.
Yeah, I think
Buffalo.
Yeah, listen,
Buffalo's
going to be in the way.
Super Bowl representative. It will be Buffalo. I'm telling you.
If Buffalo makes it, they're going to be again like in the 90s. The freaking.
You really think it's going? I don't think it's going to be the case.
Listen,
what the hell was his Norwood? It is not going to be another Scott Norwood fiasco. I just don't see that happening again.
I do. But here's the problem. First of all, don't get me wrong. Josh Allen is having his MVP season. Do I think he's going to be the MVP? I don't think he should be.
He should be, but he will be.
I don't think
he will be.
I don't think it should be.
Two people that have not been mentioned on MVP.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's one, and your running back Saquon Barkley.
What about Lamar?
Lamar should be out of it too because he struggled the last few games. The only reason that they were winning was because of their running back Derrick Henry is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're going to lead towards. It's going to be a quarterback.
It's going to be.
It usually is.
Yeah, that's why they make the Offensive Player of the Year award
because they know MVP is going to be a quarterback. Yeah,
I think it's got to be a winning game.
I'm going to go ahead and say this because everybody else has commented on it, so I'm going to give it to you from a Washington fan.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not going to play, but I wish he would. I honestly wish he would because now. Let me preface this statement that I'm about to say with this. As a Washington fan growing up in Philadelphia, I have the utmost respect for the Eagles. I've always liked the Eagles, but Washington has always been my primary fan, like my primary team. Okay, so that being said, I think because they're not going to play Saquon, I think they have to win the Super Bowl. If you do not win the Super Bowl, then you blew that chance and you lost the Super Bowl.
Completely
disagree.
disagree.
I just think as the city of Philadelphia, knowing the city of Philadelphia, living there for as long as I did, it would mean more to the city of Philadelphia. We won Super Bowl. We had one. We never had a leading rusher in the NFL.
Completely disagree.
All time.
Completely
I know
disagree.
you disagree, but I'm a Washington fan. I'm looking at it from an outsider's perspective.
But I'm also a guy who is adamant that I wanted Barkley to play and go for the record.
I'm a Giants fan who wants Barkley to go for the record.
But there is no way the record is more meaningful than a Super Bowl. There is no way.
No
way.
No, and I want him to break it.
Right. Like, I wanted him to play. I was very adamant about it.
How do you think a Giants fan feels when I say I want Barkley to break the record, even if he's wearing the Eagles uniform?
Well, you do as a fan of Barkley, and I get it.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit.
Exactly.
You don't give a shit if anybody gets hurt.
Because
now that my fantasy team is done, I already won the championship. Listen, I could care less, but I really want Barkley to do it no matter what. And you know what? And I'm going to give the whole Eagles offensive line a lot of credit that they're not getting. They're doing it without Kelsey.
Going into the playoffs, Saquon Barkley is going to go off. This team is going to lead on him in the playoffs. And if they go to the Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley will be the MVP in the Super Bowl.
And since we're talking about it real quick,
there's one of Gary's multiple Vezina trophies for Carter Hart.
Gary is very, very a bold statement. Gary is known for his bold statement.
So I'm just going to say this. I since we're talking about it real quick, and it was the topic of discussion here in Philly this week. You haven't had a bye since week 5. All right. The bulk of the teams who are in the NFC playoffs have had byes early as the Eagles. Okay. Now, one of the teams is Detroit or Minnesota is going to get a bye this week. Washington's another team who got a late bye in Tampa Bay. Everyone else,
right? Detroit's bye was week 5 too.
It was week 5, and another one was one of the other teams was week 6.
It was Minnesota.
Minnesota's week 6. So hopefully it's
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Either way, someone's gonna get by. But with that being said, you have been playing for 13 straight weeks here or whatever. My math's right? That's right. And and Saquon Barkley has had 340 something carries.
He's 54 carries above, or 34 carries above his career high.
I'm sorry, 34.
Is he really?
But he's 34 below what Dickerson had.
Right. He's over 50 carries more than his previous career high.
That's big. Yeah. That's a big deal. And
but Dickerson has the record with 34 more carries than him.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many games he played.
But with that,
we're just talking about the endurance, like what we've put Barkley through this year. That's all.
They've gotten. He's had some decent shots put on him. He's carried the ball a ton,
and he's not a small back.
No,
he's not. He's not. But he's also not Derrick Henry either. It's not like he's.
Listen, imagine if you had Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley as a child. That's a freaking mutant and a half.
Okay. Her loins are all ripped apart.
Jesus. She won't even have any loins. She won't even have a body. That thing is going to come out superhuman. Might as well rip it out of the womb.
I hear what you guys are saying from a Philadelphia standpoint. I truly do. And I respect that. But as a fan, okay, and if I'm paying whatever it costs to get a ticket at that stadium to see Saquon my stars play, if I'm paying that money and those stars are making all that money, if I want to see this dude try and break a record, I don't think it should be out of the realm. You know what I'm saying? I totally get the rest thing. I totally understand it. I do. But as an NFL fan and a fan of Saquon Barkley, I want to see that motherfucker run. I want to see
as an NFL fan, you'd want to see it. As an Eagles fan, we'd rather win a Super Bowl.
Right, like-
Exactly.
And we all wanted it. We all
It's a totally justifiable argument. I totally get it.
Yeah, and all of us here wanted him to do it, but when they made the decision to bench, I'm like,
The
okay,
one-
all right, yeah, I get. Oh, hold on, some audio from the Saquon Derrick Henry child.
Bet you're wondering if I got an Arby's beef and cheddar between my legs.
The one thing that we've all, besides Al over here, we can't count him in because he don't know no better. He's a Dallas fan. The one thing we've been yelling the last few years, the panel here, run the fucking ball. We ain't yelled that this season.
So
They ran the ball.
We got Paul Patrick Nevin chiming in here. You had motivation. You had a motivation that we had. It probably went and broke that record and then went in the playoffs. It would have definitely gone to Super Bowl. Motivation will be off the hook, I think. It's a mistake. I'm not going for the record. It really is. It's a mistake. It's a motivation break.
So what he's saying?
I see that argument because if he does break that record, dude, that city would lose its mind.
Here's where I'm at. He breaks the record. I'm happy he breaks it. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. The next day, I'm going in the work going, that was cool. He broke the record. I'm glad for him.
Let's go win a Super Bowl.
But
now I'm like, oh man, how's that going to be with the, now we got to worry about the playoffs.
See, that's the narrative I disagree with, though. That you can't play because of fear of injury.
Right, you don't coach because you're worried about injury.
But you don't play in a meaningless game.
I understand, but the concept I disagree with is the way people are saying that, all right, you don't break the record, you have to win a Super Bowl. Or if you did break the record, it's okay if you don't win the Super Bowl. You can have both.
Mm-hmm.
You could have both.
If this
you could break the record and win the Super Bowl.
If this was,
you could break the record and win a Super Bowl.
You could.
You cannot break the record and win the Super Bowl.
You could have neither.
Right. Like you could also not break the record and
you
win a
could not
Super
break
Bowl.
the record and not win the Super Bowl. But if you not break the record and not win the Super Bowl, I still think it was the right decision.
If it was a meaningful game.
And again, I was very adamant on wanting him to play, but you seen in the text thread, it's the right move.
Yeah,
it is.
It is. I don't like the move. I wish he was playing. I wish he was going for a record.
This is why I love this roundtable. Because what Sean was about to say was it's a meaningless game. I beg to differ. As an NFL fan, him breaking the record has all the meaning for me. As an Eagles fan, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Right,
I get
that's fair. That's fair.
But from an NFL, if I'm a Chiefs fan and I'm a Saquon Barkley, I'm behind. I want to see that motherfucker run.
That's
what I'm saying? So it depends on your perspective of what a meaningless game is in this specific situation.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say this.
Late in the Dallas game, too. They took him out late in the Dallas game.
Right. There was
a whole fourth quarter that he could have racked up a ton more yards.
Like another 40 yards or something.
As soon as he got 2,000, they pulled him. And as soon as they did that, I went, yeah,
that's where the writing was on the wall.
And when Lane Johnson after the game was like, he got 2,000, that's a huge accomplishment. And if nothing else happens, I'm good with it.
Right.
That's when I was like, yep, it's done.
Like Nick Sirianni already had the conversation with him.
Wait a minute. Against Dallas, he was struggling to get yards in the first two quarters.
Right.
He was getting beat up.
Okay.
They were beating him up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now the offensive line said, how many more yards he needs? Let's get it for this motherfucker. They got him to 2,000 yards. He's already took a beating. It's time for him to set. You don't want him to get hurt.
So the same reason he's going to take a beating if he plays this week too.
I didn't say make a play.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say he's going to get a beating with the Giants defense? Listen, as a Giants fan,
I'm sorry.
That's where I think it's the.
There's not going to be a beating.
Our scout team might beat the Giants.
Jason said the same thing. When the line said we're good, it was done. It was over.
Right. Yeah. So there's no reason for him to take unnecessary.
Paul has a good point.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks when Jalen Hurts got hurt, he got beat. Barkley got beat the fuck up.
You want to read that, Eric?
They beat him up.
Paul makes a good point here. He says we would have had both for sure if we would have went and brought that record. Now I'm wondering about Hurts. How long is he going to take him to get warmed up? Because you know him. I have to agree with that to a certain degree because when Jalen has missed time, it does take him a game or two to get back into his rhythm. And that's
Okay.
just from an outsider.
Well, luckily we're going to
Okay,
play Washington in the first round, so
Right.
we got time to warm
Yeah,
up.
good point.
Ah.
Okay, but I've heard that point come up a couple times, Eric.
I work with retards.
So it's 2022 when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts didn't play week 17 or 18, and they had a bye.
Yes.
So for 3 weeks he didn't play. Came out and lit up the Giants.
2004,
That's
Donovan didn't play for 3 weeks either.
Right.
Jalen Hurts better than Donovan McNabb.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, oh.
What statistically not yet, but he. Come on. You
I'm
on
not
the
disagreeing.
surface
I'm
as a
not
quarterback,
disagreeing
Jalen
with
Hurts
you,
better than
but
McNabb.
He's more consistent.
I'm not disagreeing
Right.
with you, but it's a
And
different
Jalen
team.
Hurts on the field. You can't.
It's a different team. It's a different team than
Yes, it is.
2022. It is. You have a
Right.
you have a different offensive line.
It
Okay.
is. All I'm
And-
doing is rebutting your point.
I get
You know,
that.
it
I
takes
get
him
that.
like when it's money time,
This is
Jalen
great.
Hurts is Jalen Hurts.
Okay,
Okay, so it's not. It's not.
Eagles.
So it's not like a worry in the back of your head at all. It's not a
Oh,
concern.
God
It's not
bless
even
you
a
guys.
concern.
I love you knew what you were walking into because we're the fucking cream of the crop. Yeah, we're gonna dominate this division for 10 years. Yeah, cream of the crop.
All right. Eric, I couldn't.
Yeah, brother, the cream always rises to the top.
Eric, I couldn't hear you. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
I was pointing out the fact again that it was a different team. You know what I mean? 2022 to 2024, you had two different teams. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts he's also gotten, he's gotten a little, he's 2 years older. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, is it a concern for you guys? Like, even in the back of your head, is it a worry at all that he's going to struggle coming back?
No, I'll say this.
I mean, that's a good point.
For a team that struggled coming out of the gate, out of every game to start the season, basically, except for the last few weeks. Even the game against Washington, he came out on fire. Actually, he was having one of the best starts of his career before he got hurt.
Yep.
I mean, every time he touched the ball, they were going down the field and scoring, and then he got hurt, and that was the end of that. And this, the game fell apart. But so that part is more of a concern to me than just him in general coming back. I think they needed, honestly, I think they desperately needed this rest. I think this team was running off.
They need a break.
They're not running on fumes, but I think
12 straight weeks. And
Yeah.
the offensive line is relative. Well, your best offensive lineman. I mean, even Malata, he's been in the league, 7-8 years now?
Yeah, he's getting a little bit longer.
Right. Lane Johnson's long in the tooth. They needed a break.
All right, I'm sorry, and I don't want to beat
Like
this.
Malata's having the year of his career, I think. He's having a great season.
He's in his prime, but like
I'm sorry. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go for it.
So let me ask you this, and this is the what if game, gentlemen. I'm sorry, but I'm curious to know your take. If they had beaten Washington, do you think they would have carried that momentum, or do you think they needed this break even more so if they would have beat Washington?
If they would have beaten Washington, Saquon's playing this week because this game means something.
Right.
Because
Does it?
Yes,
Yeah.
because you would have been going for the number 1 seed still.
I don't think so.
No, you needed
I
Minnesota.
don't think so.
You needed Minnesota to lose last
he
week.
would've still
Exactly.
Oh, they still have 2 losses.
Right. You wouldn't. You
okay,
needed
never mind.
You still
Minnesota to
don't
lose
control. You
last
still
week.
don't control your own destiny.
Right,
Right.
so it doesn't matter. Okay,
Right.
never
You
mind.
needed Minnesota to lose last week and beat Detroit this week.
Right.
So basically,
So I was just curious, if because let's face it, y'all, that was one of the best games of the year. It
was.
truly was. That
was
Washington
fun. It
Eagles
was-
game was one of the best games of the NFC East that I've seen this year. It was fantastic.
it was.
And granted,
It was a fun
Washington
game.
won.
Although the Thanksgiving game was pretty. fun,
Yeah.
too.
I'm just saying they were damn good games.
Yeah.
But I was just curious about your take on that.
So
If
I'm not
they
gonna-
would have won.
I mean, going into the playoffs, Jalen Hurts is back. I mean, even he struggles a little bit. Like your defense, the opposing defense is different when he's on the field with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll give you that. That's very true.
And those 4th and 1s that they punt, they're going for and getting.
Yeah, but are you going to do that? Him coming off concussion protocol?
Yes.
Yes.
You're absolutely
you're
right.
coaching.
You have
Yes.
to.
That
You're
is
not
one of
going
the
to do it
biggest.
as much.
Yes.
Oh
you
yeah,
have
every
to.
time you
Huh?
had, yeah,
That's what makes them effective.
What
Yeah.
happens if he gets knocked down?
Then it is what it is, but that's what makes them effective.
you're going for it at that point. It's win
It's
or go
playoffs.
home. Yeah. All right. So this is a discussion for everybody because I don't want to beat this down to the ground. We already have, but this whole record thing, and I disagree with Dave here. Remember the McGuire Sosa run hit going for 70. But the NFL 40-year rushing record is the same level. Just think that the record belongs to Saquon and the Eagles. Dave, I'm going to disagree. I'm sure someone here is going to know. But top of your head, who's the single season passing leader?
Breeze?
No. So no one knows?
Tom Brady?
No.
No.
Eli Manning.
Nope. Wrong.
Manning?
Nope.
Who?
See, this is why football records don't mean anything.
Who?
Peyton Manning did it in
Manning.
2013.
Well,
I had a Manning right. I just said
You
the
had
wrong
Eli.
name.
All-time receiving. Well, kind of.
Oh, you know,
That's
Eli
Calvin,
played
right?
for the Giants. You can answer half the questions with Manning and
Yeah.
be 50 and get 50-50.
Well,
But
you know what? And
I
that's
just
something.
proved the point, right? Like, but you ask me
Eli, Peyton,
who
Archie.
has the all-time home run leader? Who's the all-time home run single season leader? It's Barry Bonds. Right off the bat, boom, 73. Who's the all-time home run leader in general? Boom, all-time hits leader. Boom.
I'm going to throw a wrench into this. So, speaking of Alex Ovechkin's 23 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 23.
And when he catches them in assists,
Why is that
That never happened.
Why is
That'll
that?
never happen.
Because
What's the
why?
wrench for?
Why is
that
that?
a
Because Sidney Crybaby Crosby can't do it.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, you
Okay.
want to know why it's a big deal? I'll tell you why it's a big deal, because no one ever thought it would be broken.
Yeah, you're
guess
talking about
what?
the greatest of all time.
You're talking
GOAT.
about the GOAT in the NHL's record of the
Oh, okay.
all-time
yeah.
greatest
Which one?
scorer
Oh, yeah, that's
being,
huge.
being
Oh, yeah.
overtaken by Alex Ovechkin.
Oh, big time. But
That's
he'll never catch it.
that's a big
It doesn't-
deal.
It is a big deal, but it doesn't make him better than Gretzky.
No,
Because
no,
you
No,
take away-
no.
You take away
Completely agree
Gretzky's
with
goals, and he still leads in points.
He's still the all-time points leader.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
So,
you. Yes.
Playing Terry picking Gretzky.
what was I going to say? Oh, so
Cherry picking Gretzky.
No, he don't play no defense. He just plays up the fucking net.
He didn't have to. He scored 6 goals a game.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
the other thing
Cherry picking.
about this Dickerson record is that I feel that because it's inevitable. I know Al hasn't talked in like 10 minutes.
I forgot I was here.
And I've been actually keeping my mouth shut for once.
Yeah. Go, that's what you got to say.
Now,
All right, I'll go.
You
away
had a
for
lot to
minute.
say. Hold on. Yeah, let's put us
Hold on.
all on mute.
I
So
know.
we gotta let because
But
Gomez
this-
said he had a lot to say.
I know, and I just want to say this last thing about this record thing, and then because
Answer my questions about the record.
Okay. My thing was that it's inevitable that the NFL is going to 18 games. That record's it's not going to last. It's
Right.
going to be done. So say Saquon breaks it, 5 years from now, someone else is going to break it.
Because it'll be
So
Yeah.
what
and
I
then
don't
it'll be
believe
I'm gonna ask that question.
I
I
don't
don't believe that
I
either.
don't believe that.
No?
And I'll tell you
No,
why.
Okay.
Saquon's a specimen that you just can never find again.
And that's one reason. But the most, this is what I'm going to tell you: the running game is not as important in today's NFL.
No,
It'll-
Okay,
it'll
so
be-
Saquon doing this now, you're never going to see this for a long time because the
It's
running
cyclical.
game isn't what it used to be.
It
It's
will.
just
It'll
not.
come back.
I
It's coming
agree.
back.
I agree, but I think that this year changes things because you look at what Baltimore has done with Derrick Henry, what Saquon's done with the Eagles. I think it's going to change mindsets. The Eagles are winning games because they're
I
winning
do,
the ball.
but I mean, come on. We thought the West Coast offense was revolutionary when it first came out. I mean, we're talking about running backs, people that were the staple of leatherneck football. You know what I mean? And they've gone. I'm not saying they've gone the way of the dodo, but you're correct that Saquon and Derrick Henry, those two alone, this season alone, have revived that position. But I don't think it's enough to bring the change the game.
They're
You know
never
what I
gonna
mean?
I disagree because I think that Gomez. I love Barkley. I think he's a freak of nature. There's going to be others.
Yeah, they're always.
Yeah.
I
They're
don't
always
think I'm going to be honest with you. There's not going to be a Saquon Barkley ever again. Okay, not for nothing. I watch college football like freaking crazy, like NFL.
I mean, I guess that's fair. There hasn't been a Barry since Barry.
Okay, Barry Sanders was his own class. The
Yeah.
next best thing that came to next to Barry Sanders was Emmitt Smith. Okay, then look at the gap between Emmitt Smith and Saquon Barkley. The next thing that I always remembered was, well, Christian McCaffrey is one, but that's a Christian McCaffrey-
LT, right?
Well,
Adrian Peterson.
but no.
Peterson.
But Peterson fell off the face of the earth.
That's because he beat
No,
his kid
Peterson.
with a.
No, that's not true. Peterson played for like 15 years.
Yeah, and where did he end up and die?
I don't know.
Dallas.
Where?
Oh yeah, he did. He played for the Cowboys?
But he had a
2,000.
He had a 2,000-yard rushing season.
When he was a Viking,
After ACL too.
But you're saying that there's never going to be. I think, quite frankly, all things considered, I think Peterson was a better running back than Barkley.
No way.
Right now, yeah. As they stand right now, if Barkley's career ended right now, I'd put Peterson ahead of Barkley.
I would not put Barkley. I would not put Peterson. No. Here's the thing. Peterson, he would run east to west. Barkley runs north and south.
Would you put LT over him?
I would put LT behind Peterson.
Would you put him over Barkley?
No.
Okay.
Wow.
LT was another East-West Coast guy. He was not I'm going to run you over kind of running back. There's only been a few running backs in the NFL that would just run right at you.
Barkley's not afraid. Right.
Barkley's not afraid. He'll come at you. You know who else was like that? The old number 20. Marion Barber was another one, and also Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs, absolutely.
He would come at you with a ton of bricks. Come on, you seen him knock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean, he just wasn't. He didn't have the breakaway speed. He
just knew how to kill you in the open tackle.
That as the Earl Campbell type running back.
Well, I mean, obviously, Derrick Henry's that type.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry. But I mean, again,
I always considered Derrick Henry a fullback, just faster.
He's built
You know
like
what I mean?
he's like a fast fullback.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's just built like a fullback. And he
Right
runs
now,
like a fullback.
He's built like a
reminds
freaking middle
me of
linebacker.
of a black Mike Allstott.
Yeah,
That's who he reminds me of.
But I still would put Henry ahead of Barkley.
Yes.
Yeah, I would too.
Oh, only in the you know what?
Although
Only in the
Barkley-
goal line. Only in the goal line. Only on goal line. I would put Henry over that.
No, the man's huge and he still runs at what, 20 miles an hour?
Yeah, he's
was it?
30-something years old, still doing it, right?
Yeah, but look where he's at though.
I
Again,
just-
another offensive
He
line that's actually
carried
not great.
Tennessee.
He was
He
the only
carried
thing
Tennessee.
Tennessee had.
As an Eagles fan, I hope because Eagles signed Barkley to what, a 4-year deal?
I think so.
4-year.
Was it? I
Three
thought
or
it was
four.
4 year. I think it's a 4-year.
Four,
deal.
that's what I thought it was 4 years. So I hope he lasts that contract, which means he would be 31. If he's still producing at that level, then I think we have a conversation. Personally, I think at this point, because Saquon's limited numbers because due to injury, because he was playing behind a weak offensive line, and he still had really productive years.
He only had 1 year that he didn't break 1,000 yards.
Ahead of Derrick.
Here's the caveat to that though, because Henry has already had a 2,000-yard season. Okay, a couple seasons back, he had 2,000 yards, and he's gonna have it if he plays. He's gonna have another one. He's right there. I mean, he's not that far out. Okay,
No, I think he's a little ways.
Oh, no. He's only got 1,700 yards right now. Right?
Yeah, he's a little
this
way.
year.
Never mind. Yeah, he ain't gonna
But
get
still,
that.
I mean, still
But
1,700 yards in a season.
that's-
Still,
it's a
at
lot.
32
It's a
years
lot.
old, or whatever he is.
On a
That's-
team where
Exactly.
the quarterback also gets almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So
And you have unbelievable wide receivers on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
You know,
All right, Sleevie, being a Giants fan.
yes.
All right. So let's say in this scenario, Barkley played.
Mhm.
Okay. You're already out of the playoffs. You really want to, in essence, you want to lose the Giants. You're playing against Barkley, who's going against the record. Do you think the coaches sit there and go, I don't care what the hell they do, they can pass all day. Do not Barkley get the record.
I'm going to be honest with you. First of
Just
all,
so they don't have to eat
as a
crap.
Giants fan, I'm going to say this full-heartedly. Dable doesn't have the balls to say that, first of all. Dable is not a head coach material. He's better off as an offensive coordinator. Okay. That he's a bullshit head coach. He lost control of the team a long time ago.
Right.
All right. That's what I think. He reminds me of fucking Pat Shurmur and Joe Judge.
Okay, what if
Dude, you
what
just
if,
brought up a name that gives me a nightmare.
what if you were the coach? What would you
If I
do?
was the coach,
Would you
I'm
primarily
going to ask you,
focus
I'll
on
plan
Saquon?
my defense the right way. You play the game. Ooh, that looks good. That looks like a good beer right there. I'm going to be honest with you. You play the game. You
I hope it
play
tastes like
against the
yellow
best
snow.
players. If my defense, if I'm saying, listen, Barkley's going to try to go for the record, we got to stop him. but he's not the number one priority either. You still got to worry about Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown, and the tight end.
I agree, but I still say Barkley would be the number one concern just because they run the ball
I'm
so
gonna be
much.
honest with you, the number one concern is the whole freaking team, not just one
Oh,
guy.
yeah. They run
And
the
I'm
ball
not-
to set up the pass, and they do it beautifully.
Yeah, they do. And then that's what I'm saying. But it's more than just Barkley. If the Giants had the fucking brains to actually play the defense the right way, which would be amazing, first of all. But Dable has no control over the team. He doesn't know how to run an offense. He's running the offense like he has Josh Allen.
Right.
Okay, that's what's pissing me off.
Tell me one more.
Well, he thought he did when he had what's his nuts?
Daniel Jones?
Yeah, he
Listen.
thought he had the next coming of him.
I'll be honest with you. After the year we beat the Vikings in the playoffs and we lost pretty bad to the Eagles, I'm not complaining about that season one bit.
Right.
But I said he's not worth the $40 million that they offered him. I said $20 million the most, but $40 million was a ridiculous amount. And for me to this day, do you understand? As I rewatch Hard Knocks of the Giants and hearing Joe Shane say, I don't see giving a $12 million check to a 27-year-old running back.
Right.
Yep.
Not for nothing. When you have even in a shitty offensive line like we have, and I'll say it, he did wonders. Okay, he would break tackles. He would run people over. Okay, and that's the reason the Giants were successful the year they beat the Vikings. Okay, and I'll say it was Barkley who carried the team, not Daniel Jones.
But you're preaching to the choir about overpaying a quarterback.
Well, yeah, well, no, hold on. Dak
Yeah.
Prescott, I'm going to say this. Dak can, if you can get him a coach that understands Dak Prescott, he could be as good as Troy Aikman. If you could get him the right personnel.
The problem is Dak was only good when he would scramble too. He took that part of his game away. It's kind of like, remember when Donovan said, I'm not a running quarterback anymore. I'm going to pocket pass.
Yeah.
And he
I'm gonna say this in defense of the rest of the NFL. Okay, what Sleevie just said about having the right personnel, having the right coach that understand. That's every quarterback in the NFL. If every quarterback had the right coach with the right personnel, they could do some damage.
Right, like Jalen Hurts.
I mean, a lot of
Jalen Hurts does with the
have
Browns, right?
unsuccessful teams. Yeah, is because you don't have the supporting cast, or because things have to line up just right.
Sam
for
Darnold.
a team to be, you know what I mean?
Baker Mayfield. Yeah,
Baker Mayfield, listen, Baker Mayfield carried the Cleveland Browns for a few years.
with no talent.
With no talent. And I'm just
Right,
telling you.
but that's all he
that
did was carry them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But just that showed he was NFL ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wrong about Baker Mayfield.
I was a Baker Mayfield fan. I'll be honest with you. When I heard the Browns were looking to trade him or release him, I was literally hoping the Giants would pick him up because I said,
Imagine Mayfield and Neighbors.
"Oh God,
That's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
They're going to get
And-
Cousins. The Giants. They're gonna
and
get
don't
Cousins.
forget, no.
Dream on.
Here's the thing: if you think about it, the 1-year quarterbacks are left. Baker only signed a 1-year deal with Tampa.
Oh, he's re-signing.
He might, but here's the thing: when you have and I'm not saying Mike Evans is old. I mean, listen,
He is.
All right, excuse me, but he's got how many seasons? 1,000 yards plus.
Like 7 or 8 in a row
Yeah,
now.
he's gonna break the
no,
record.
he's
or
up-
something.
Is it 11?
This
This
is
is 11 in a row.
11 in a row. Okay, he's had good quarterbacks for how many years? You know what I mean? That's one thing.
I don't know. 4 of them years he did it with Winston.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but Winston threw.
That's true,
Winston 5,000.
Right, that's true. And
And
like
then
30
2,000
picks.
the other way.
30 picks.
30
But yeah, that's true.
28 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, when you see a guy like Malik Neighbors and Jalen Hyatt, and I'm going to say Jalen Hyatt because he's, again,
Hyatt wanted to get traded.
he wanted to get traded, but he never did because Dable said, I'm going to use him, and he never does.
Yeah.
Again, misuse of the players.
Yeah.
If I was the head coach, I look at my weapons. Okay, I have 2 speedy wide receivers. There's my 1 and 2. Okay. My slot is going to be Wendell Robinson. Why? Because he's small and he's fast as hell.
Good hands.
He's a
too.
good receiver.
And he's got great hands too.
Absolutely.
Theo is definitely my primary tight end, but Bellinger is my blocking tight end with running, but he can still catch the ball too because he put on some pounds, that guy. But that's the thing. Again, the offensive line, Evan Neal always hurt. This guy's hurt. That guy is always hurt because they don't take care of the offensive line. They think the offensive line's a bunch of idiots, and that's what pisses me off as a offensive lineman. And granted, I never coached.
You win games through the trenches.
Yes, you know what?
How we learned that early on.
Right. That's why the Eagles are. I mean,
doing what they're doing. Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
The Eagles are always good. They're always good
And
because they
can I
win
ask
the
you a
line of
question?
scrimmage.
Can I ask this question?
Yeah.
When do you ever hear a lineman get his name on the freaking paper? When do you see a lineman get the interviews, except for Kelsey, minus him, because he was probably one of the best centers in NFL history.
Yeah,
Okay?
they're unsung heroes, but you know what? They're the wins. They're the guys, and you know what? That's what Howie does. I mean, if you've heard the show, I'm sure I've said it before.
Yeah,
Howie is 2 years ahead. Howie drafted Cam Jurgens to replace Kelsey 2-3 years ago. Played him at guard 1 year, and then Tyler Steen was coming in to either replace Kelsey or Cam Jurgens, and then he was going to play guard. Then they brought in Becton, and now Tyler Steen is watching Becton. He's already waiting in the wings. We already got our next guy. If we don't,
Right, they're probably not signing Becton.
Right,
Probably not signing because you got Tyler
because he
Steen.
outperformed his contract.
Right,
and then next year they're gonna draft Lane Johnson's replacement.
Right,
They're
right.
already
And then in
churning
2
guys
years
over.
they'll draft Mulata's replacement.
Right, they're
Right.
2 years, 3 years ahead, thinking ahead 2 years, 3 years on the offensive line and the defensive line. They build through the trenches.
Well, can I say one thing on that? That's
Yeah.
smart management.
That's right.
Yeah, and I got Sleevie G. Like, if I'm a Giants fan at this point,
God bless you.
right? Yeah, but at this point, I'm blowing the whole fucking thing up. I'm firing everybody,
But that's the problem that I had.
People said that, yeah.
and I'm starting over. And like you said, I'm looking for a quarterback. If I fall to 9, I'm trading for McCarthy. If I'm at 4, whatever, hopefully Cam Ward falls to me.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what everyone's seeing on Sanders. He is not a number 1 quarterback.
He's going to go number 1.
I know he is, but the problem I have with him, he is actually. He is rated to be the number 1 overall pick. He's
Not if the Patriots keep that pick, though. Isn't the Patriots number 1 pick
I think
right now?
No, it's the Raiders.
I think
no, it's the Raiders who have it.
No, it's
No,
the
it's the
Patriots.
Patriots.
It's the Patriots. But I think
Sanders might go to the Giants.
I think the Patriots trade out.
Right.
I think
Well,
the Patriots are going to trade it out to Vegas.
Yeah.
Granted, they have Aiden O'Connell, but here's the thing: Sanders, he's a daddy's little boy. That's the problem with him. Okay, he's not going to be able to do it without his dad.
I just think he can't take a hit.
No, he
I'm
can't.
gonna be honest.
he's a
I
punk.
don't. I think he's really fragile.
That's hard, that's hard to imagine being who his dad is.
But
That
how
he's
would
a
you?
punk.
But no,
Wouldn't tackle.
Sleevie, how would you?
Point.
Yeah,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Sleevie, how would you feel that they wind up drafting Shador Sanders
That's who they're gonna take.
and then hire Dion?
To be honest with you, I'll change my colors so quickly it's not even funny.
Oh,
Really?
There we go.
AGLES Eagles.
I will change my colors if he became the coach of the New York Giants. I don't like. First of all, I hated Deion Sanders when he was as a player. I hate Deion Sanders as a coach. I hate what Deion Sanders stands for. He is not a true player. He's just about the fucking showboat money.
Sleevie, I could not agree more.
Must be the money.
I hated him his entire career.
Yeah.
I still hate him to this day. I hate him.
I
as a
mean, you
coach.
can hate him, but like you didn't throw to his side of the field.
It's
true.
As an outsider looking in, as a Washington fan, how I see New York right now is, and this, I'm going to make a very general, broad statement because I don't believe it's fact, but it's what I believe. I believe every NFL team is 3 years away from going from shit to best. If you're rebuilding, I think it's a good 3 years before if you're going to rebuild from scratch, where you have to do in New York right now, you have to rebuild from scratch. Okay, you keep one. You either keep your quarterback or keep your coach, but one's got to go because they're not on the same page.
Well, as you can see, we already got rid of the quarterback.
But it don't matter. They're still not on the same page.
No, but now you got to get rid of the coach. That's the problem right there.
Right.
As much as I hate Joe Shane, and I really don't like him because of what he did to Barkley, I'm going to say that loud and clear. Okay.
Yeah, he did give him the shit end of the stick.
Listen, Barkley did want to stay as a Giant. Barkley wanted that Ring of Honor, but the way he was disrespected, I don't blame the fucking guy going to the Eagles one bit. I was sour. I was pissed. I hope the guy broke his leg the first game.
I mean,
Was
Hard
anybody
Knocks.
else surprised about that? Because I was really surprised at.
I wasn't one bit. I wasn't.
Really? I always thought the
listen.
Giants were a pretty decent organization, but I never
No.
thought they treated their players like that.
No. Giants is a good organization. John Mara is a good owner. Steve Tisch is an idiot. He's all about the movies by getting John Mara's daughter into the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, making sure his daughter got the money. He's the silent partner that doesn't know what. If you put a football in front of him, he thinks it's an egg and you got to crack it and cook it for breakfast. Okay, that's what I think about the owner of Steve Tisch. John Mara has a brain, at least. You heard it in Hard Knocks. How
He said it. I'm going to lose sleep. I'm going to lose sleep if we lose Saquon.
Was that him basically trying to get them to keep him?
Yeah, and the GM sitting there going,
He's laughing. He's laughing.
We're not paying this guy, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
so,
I can't pay.
Is Joe Shane the one that paid Daniel Jones?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're in that situation,
he's trying not to fall on his own sword.
he really is. Like, he shouldn't have paid Daniel Jones. That's where it's like this.
I'm not going to have my $40 million quarterback.
That money could have been spent so much better than where it went.
I'm sorry, and I'm going to say it. Listen.
Evaluated talent.
Yes.
Yeah, he does not know what talent is. Granted, again, both of them came from the freaking Bills. You got lucky with Josh Allen. He was the quarterback messiah. You traded for what the hell was his name that left?
Do that.
Diggs. Thank you, Diggs. He was a great wide receiver because he actually opened his mouth and said, I don't like the way you guys are doing, and you trade him off like if he's a piece of crap. Not for nothing. You're not a GM if you're not listening to your players for a reason. If you're not listening to your owner and saying, I'm going to lose sleep if he goes to the Eagles, what does that tell you in your brain?
Pay him $15 million a year. Bring him back.
Well, the conversation, I was going to bring it up. Yeah, we relive that. And then, and I just want to move on after this because we've been talking with Barkley well. But when he basically called up Barkley and he basically said, yeah, I love to have you here, but go test the market and come back. You can hear in Barkley's voice. You can hear it right then and there. He's like, what?
Like, you should know my market value.
He's like, yeah, we go test the market and come back to us. And I have your. By the way, Saquon, I have your word. You're gonna give me an even. Yeah, we're good, man. He basically at that point, he's like, fuck.
You knew he wasn't resigning.
Oh, I already knew right there. Right,
Howie Rose was sitting on his couch with his long fingernails, smoking a joint, like,
twirling his mustache.
I'm gonna say this. I know we're gonna end the Barkley soon, but if you remember what Barkley said when he got franchised, he said he's not gonna play it down for the New York Giants. Okay. This is like the second time they franchised him,
and he said they didn't want to do that again. Yeah,
and I'm going to say this, and this is another thing that really pissed me off. There's no trade value for Barkley. Bullshit. There was trade value for Barkley.
Yeah.
Okay. We lost Barkley, and we got nothing in return for him. Okay. Imagine the trade that if the Eagles traded for Barkley, what we could have gotten out of him, out of your team. I'm going to say that I could have gotten a 1, a 3, a 5 pick out of this year's draft for Barkley.
I don't think so.
No, the Eagles wouldn't have gave that up.
The Eagles
you would have gotten a 3.
The Eagles wouldn't have given you a 1 for a running back.
You know what?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know.
No, they don't do it.
You'll never know.
They don't.
No.
You'll
Yeah,
never
the Eagles
know.
don't. Yeah, the Eagles don't.
They would have re-signed DeAndre Swift.
What?
They
Wait
would
a
not
minute.
have given you
Hold
a
on,
1.
hold on. The Eagles also don't pay a running back $13 million.
Right, but they signed him, but they would not have traded a first-round pick for a running back.
When was the last time that you had a guy that was disgruntled, like in the middle of his middle-aged career, this and that got a first-round pick? Like it just doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't
the only
happen,
guys
yeah.
that like, there's the defensive
You
ends
may
every
have
once in a
got a
while
second.
that get like a couple first-round picks that are still under control for a year or two.
Yeah, the Eagles won the game
But
up.
they're
No first round picks.
you watch every year. You look at guys. You're like, he got traded for what? These wide receivers. Amari Cooper got traded for a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Bro, he's also, but also his play declined at Cleveland.
Mhm.
Okay, so
You know what?
Well,
Amari Cooper got traded to Cleveland from Dallas for a 3rd round pick when he was at his
a
or a
fifth. It was a
fifth,
fifth.
a 5th round pick. Amari
Okay.
Cooper in his prime got traded for a 5th round pick.
Absolutely.
That's the
That's
way
how
that it
stupid
goes.
Jones is.
Yeah, you from the Eagles at least. Like you would have been lucky to get a 3rd and a 5th for Barkley.
I think I would have gotten a second.
Not
think-
from the Eagles.
I was thinking maybe a second for Barkley. I
A
think
second
that
or a
would-
third, or a second and a 4th.
All right,
But
so
we could
I
have
wanna-
gotten a lot for him.
I want to have,
I'm
I
not
wanna have
saying the Eagles.
I'm gonna have some fun with you guys, with Eric, Al, and Sleevie here for a second. I got a question for each of you guys. I want you to answer it, and then if you guys want to ask Eagles fans a question, we'll be more than happy to answer. I'm sure one of us will. There's 16 of us here. I'm gonna start off with Eric. Eric, the Redskins name. How much does that hurt? And I know you did it, Luke. I already wrote it down before the show. All right, and then you alluded to it in your opening statements tonight. The Redskins name being taken away. What does that mean to you? What do you want to see them do? Do you want to see them change it? And this is a 2-part question. What do you think of the Redskins, the Washington ownership? Because we have an opinion about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Hang on. I just got to check something. I have a lot to say about this, but okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
I'm going to start off with the name. Okay. Let's start with the name. I think the Redskins should have it back. I do know that there's a current argument from the native people that they want it back.
They're bringing the logo back.
It gave them a sense of pride. You know what I mean? It's not offensive. Redskins fans never did what the Braves do.
And by the way, we have two. You and Al are both. You both have native blood. You both have native blood, which is interesting. Yeah,
It really bothered me from that aspect. But I didn't take it personally. I took it from a cultural standpoint. Like, man, you guys really, it wasn't. I never thought of it as abusive or degrading. Now, what the Braves do, I don't like. I never did. I never liked the chop thing.
You can thank Dion for that, by the way.
That was I always took as insulting. But the Redskins fans never did that shit. You know what I mean? Our mascot was a war chief. You know what I mean? He came out and he had, the headdress and all that shit. And it was great. I remember back in the day, they had the Indian head in the middle of it was the 50-yard line.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what it was. You can't get that anymore. Now it's a big fucking W. I mean, it just doesn't. Yeah. I mean, where's your rallying cry? There's not. I mean, Commanders, please. Come on. I would have stayed with the football club. That even had
the red
moxie
tail.
to it.
Red tails would have been cool.
Or the Hogs.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
But
Yeah.
the Commanders, I mean, it just doesn't have that fight to it. It doesn't. I look at a commander as someone who sits back and gives orders. I don't see a commander as someone who's in the trenches.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie though. Them black uniforms, man.
They're kind of nice.
Yeah,
They're fucking nice.
The black unis are nice.
I'm telling you, man. I could just see that with the dude. You know what I mean?
With
Not
the
the W.
emblem. Like
See it
keep
with
that
the
same
emblem,
color
yeah.
scheme with the emblem on
So
the
they
helmet.
are
telling
bringing.
you.
They
I'm
are
telling
allowing. They are allowing the team to use the Redskin, the old head. What's that one?
Yeah.
Sleevie?
There's
What's
the
that?
Jalen Daniels in the black uni.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
This is the Hail Mary pass card.
Oh god.
Nice,
Right
nice.
on.
Yeah, Chicago's lost 10 straight since then.
So
But what you said, back to what you were asking,
they're
you know what
bringing
I
that
mean?
back to a throwback. They're allowed to lose that as a throwback logo again
Next year?
Yeah.
And I think that's fantastic. I do. I
This
think
is
it's a step in the
step.
right direction.
Yeah.
And I do think it really bothered a lot of the old school fan base. I
Yeah.
really do. I really think a lot of the old, I mean, dude, there's memorabilia out there from Super Bowls that are just, have Redskins all over them. You're never going to see that again.
Eric, did Chief
I
Wahoo
really,
bother
really
you?
think it hurt a lot of the true fans.
Did Chief Wahoo bother you too?
No.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone was up in arms about the emblem. Who cares?
No, not at all. That like I said, a lot of the native people took it as pride. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? They look at it. Our nation's capital is using Native Americans to represent their football team.
100%.
The nation's capital. That you look at it as almost as a political statement.
I completely agree.
We got audio from the Redskins ownership and the Native Americans in the office. It made no sense at the time. It definitely doesn't make any sense now.
Get this through your head, you Jew motherfucker, you.
Wait a minute. That doesn't make
There's no
sense.
need to get like that. What the fuck?
Wait, what? All right.
I was just trying to say hi.
So Al, I'm leaving my question for Sleevie last because I think this is going to debate something. So Al,
Yes.
as a Cowboys fan,
Yes.
why does every conversation with most Dallas fans start and end with 5 rings, 5 rings, 5 rings, 5 rings?
There's 2 reasons for it.
Okay.
Like with me, I never.
You don't.
Anyone here, have I ever brought up or made fun, go, hey, Eagles lost? No.
No, Al is not
Most
the
likely-
obnoxious Cowboys
No,
fan.
most people come
Thank God.
Hey, like, I'll give you a quick example. Like I told Sean a bunch of times, I was at a wedding. I love talking football with guys outside when we're smoking. And we start talking about the top 5 running backs of all time. I give my 5, Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and Emmitt Smith. And dude goes,
OJ don't get
Emmitt's
no love, huh?
Emmitt's no love. and the dude goes, oh, Emmitt Smith sucks. Emmitt sucks. I
Wait,
go,
what?
why?
No, come on now.
He goes, because he was a Cowboy. I go, I'm done talking to you.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
fair. That's fair.
That's an obnoxious fan.
Right.
That's a
I
stupid-
like
that's a-
talking
Dude,
to
that's
intelligent.
stupid as hell.
Yeah.
Exactly. But a lot of
He said
annoying.
He said just your jersey is obnoxious. Mark said.
With that picture, he's saying it. Look at him. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's saying it with conviction too, probably.
Yeah.
No, there's 2 types of fans, just like with every fan base. There's the obnoxious, moronic ones who go, 5 rings, 5 rings, 5 rings, whatever.
Mhm.
Then there's ones that will tell the truth. A lot of times, some people are doing it in defense of the Eagles, like going on the trolls, going on the websites, going, Cowboys lost. Why are you here talking about the Cowboys losing? You're taking your time to go on a website to talk about a team you don't even listen to. That's when that happens for that. Then there's the obnoxious moron people who just go around going, hey, we got 5 rings. Shut the fuck up about the 5 rings already. And go past the divisional round. I'm begging you. Just 1 year.
This is why Al is not your prototypical Dallas.
No,
Cowboys
I'll tell
fan.
the fucking truth.
And it's not because every other Dallas Cowboy fan that almost every other Dallas Cowboy fan that I know, not all.
Yeah, Al's almost
your
easy
buddy
to-
Mark's pretty good.
Yeah,
Mike-
Rob's not.
Rob's
like,
pretty
yeah.
good too, but even Rob does an Easter egg on my thing here.
Right,
He put
right.
5 to represent the 5 ring.
Yeah, but Al would have done that.
No, I usually put his figures in sexual position.
Yeah,
Well, that's
So I
true.
know
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, but you
So-
would have did that too.
So the reason why, and I didn't mean to bring this up when you were talking, but in my book I bring up a thing here. I said the Cowboys fans now bringing up the 5 rings is the equivalent to this point because it's been so long. Is if it's the year 2024, us bringing up 2 back-to-back championships for the Flyers in the 70s.
Absolutely.
That's the equivalent.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Did,
sir.
did Flyers fans ever do that in 2004?
No.
No.
Because it's fucking embarrassing to do that because it's been so long to do it.
It's 30 fucking years ago.
But yet it's
50 years ago.
when now,
Right.
But I'm saying in 2000.
Oh, right. Okay. All right.
You got to roll back time. That's
Right.
how long it's been. So like, it's been that long now since they've won. It's embarrassing. You're like, no, I'm not bringing up the 5 rings.
I don't want to
give
talk
a
about
fuck.
the Flyers. It's
I don't
embarrassing.
give a fuck. Like, look. I'll say
It
this.
is. The Steelers got 6, and you don't hear them going around going,
Exactly. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Your
Right.
Patriots fans.
You know what I mean? You don't. I have yet to hear.
Like I've seen website where I've seen sites where we talk about the Eagles, and then a Steelers fan comes on, and the Eagles start going back and forth, saying you're not even the best team in the state, blah blah blah.
Right,
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but I mean, Pittsburgh hasn't had a losing season in forever.
15 years.
And they've remained relevant the entire time.
Mike Tomlin's 18 years straight, dude.
Yeah.
Not a losing season.
Right.
He's been there. That fucking
But to answer your question, a lot of times it depends on the situation. A lot of times it's in defense of it's always because of an obnoxious fan, whether it be the Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Redskins, whoever.
It's not for me. Like I have a Giants fan who I work with who is obnoxious.
Right.
Like when Jalen got hurt, he came up to me and goes, "He's done for the year." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Done for the year?" Yeah, he ain't gonna play again. I'm like, dude, the playoffs is 3 weeks away.
Right.
You're gonna tell me he's not gonna come back from concussion 3 weeks? Yeah, you guys are done. I said, you've been done since fucking preseason. You haven't. Don't tell me that.
We were done after game 1. Preseason, we were okay. So
He's done for 10 years.
But like, yeah.
When your mom stops sucking cocks, that's when he's done.
That's when he's done. But no, sorry. So I wanted to ask you that. All right.
But hey, also, like a quick example, then you can move on. When I kid around with friends and whatnot, TJ, you read everything that's going on today. TJ always starts with, I'm a closet Eagles fan. I'm not. I'm a football fan. I can admit when things go wrong and right. One of my favorite players of all time, Brian Dawkins, probably because I met him and he gave me an autograph. Reggie White. I mean, it doesn't matter what team you play on.
Look, if I had met Emmitt Smith in the flesh,
absolutely.
I'd be all about it. Now, I will tell you, one Cowboys player, if I met him, I would walk the fuck away. Because there's Eagles players who I've met and I walked away from.
Yeah.
Okay. I met Freddie Mitchell. My wife said, right, do you want to get his autograph? I said, fuck him.
Fuck Freddie.
Right in front of him. Right in front of him. We were on the concourse at spring training in the Phillies. I went, fuck that guy. And he looked at me and kept walking. Fuck that. Michael Irvin. I fucking hate Michael Irvin.
I agree with you. I fucking hate him.
I hate him.
He's got that cockiness. He's just like Dion.
Hate him.
He's just like Dion.
See, but I love Dion. I'm on the other side. I love Dion.
But Dion
I don't
was one
love
of the best in
Dion.
his
I
position.
respect
Absolutely.
Dion. I respect Dion. I think Dion was a generational talent at the cornerback position. I think he's a piece of shit. Of a person. I don't. And Michael Irvin to me is the same way. Michael Irvin and Dion were the same. Two birds in a nest.
But Dion,
where they were the same way, or worried about themselves first.
I don't know about that. When Dion coached in Florida Atlantic, dude, he fucking completely replaced their whole training facility.
That's what happens.
Sleevie, did you ever hear the story about the year Dion got drafted? The Giants actually came up to him, and they're like, they showed him the playbook and everything. They're like, hey, you should start taking a look at this. And he goes, when do you guys draft? They're like, 10. He's like, throws the book back and goes, I'll be gone by then.
Wow. That's good. That's good.
Listen, what we got here? Someone's Sean.
Yeah, so we got Sean Jackson saying, as much as I once pulled for Saquon when he's a part of my Giants, if someone had offered shown a second-round pick or higher for Saquon, I'm sure Joe would have traded him.
I'm sure he would have too. I just don't think you were going to get that offer from the Eagles.
Sleevie saying no.
He would not, because he could have done it in the beginning of the last year. He had the opportunities to trade Saquon. He didn't do it. He's not.
He's right. Yeah.
He could have done it. He didn't want to. Joe Shane is a jackass of a GM. He made David Gettleman look like a smart guy.
Oh man, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot because Gettleman was a joke. He was a joke of it.
At least he got me. At least he got some hogs on the freaking line that actually could protect people.
So, so that's a good segue. I got a question for you, and I think this is going to end up being quite a conversation. That's why I saved it for last. And and then after we do this, if you guys want to ask an Eagles fan a question, please. Is Eli Manning a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No.
No, this is for him to answer. Sorry. And then we can.
Yes. First of all right. I know. I'm gonna reason why. I have a lot of reasons why Eli Manning is saying yes. First of all, probably the one Giant that played almost every single game until McAdoo benched him. Iron Man right there, okay?
Ben McAdoo. Oh my God.
Yeah, another horrible coach. So,
God.
not for nothing, you beat the GOAT of football twice, and you ruined their perfect season.
Mhm.
Okay, you technically had a little bit better passing yards than your older brother, and on top of it, you had 2 Super Bowl rings before your older brother. Okay,
Where did he outpace Peyton?
At one year he did.
Oh,
One year?
But it doesn't matter.
You're bringing up
Well,
1
here's the
year.
thing. All
as
right,
the
how many
first
times? How
to be
many
Hall
times
of
did
Famer?
Peyton? How many times did Peyton Manning get hurt and Eli was still playing?
Peyton Manning missed. Like, I mean,
He had neck surgery. Yeah.
right, but I mean, Eli is the Iron Man. I get that, but like,
And the Walter Payton Award and 2-time Super Bowl MVP. I mean, everyone says Eli is
I
not.
was on board with your argument until you said he was better than Peyton.
I've never said he was. I didn't say he was
Right,
better
but
than Peyton.
to
But he
argue at
was,
any point he was better than
No,
Peyton.
he said that he had more passing yards one season.
yes, one season. But here's the thing:
Peyton got hurt.
Eli Manning hasn't played every game he's been in. He's been hurt. He still played.
That is a good.
Okay. He's been in every single snap.
His stature, by the way, someone I thought would be broken in half.
Yes, I agree.
I will say that about Eli.
He's tough.
He didn't get the credit for being as tough as he was. He had that wimpy kind of face, sorry, but he did.
He did. I'm not going to say anything negative on that.
But it's the truth. Like he did. He had that kind of. He had that like little brother. I'm going to throw you in the locker kind of face, right? And he stood in there and took every shot and hung in there. Did this whole remember that shoulder thing? He would do that shoulder thing and give that snarly look. He would look and then throw a fucking dime the next pass. I will give him credit for that. Absolutely.
He did have a lot to live up to, being Peyton's little
I
brother.
bet
Yeah, absolutely.
He definitely had that gene.
He did have 2 rings before Peyton did.
Right.
And Peyton's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
When the game was online, he shined.
So
he shined. He had how many in one season? I think he had 9 comeback wins the year they won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The second time?
They were a resilient team that year.
Yeah, but we
Peyton,
always talk
Peyton
Nick
also
Foles isn't Hall
right,
of
but
Fame.
Peyton also competed for the Super Bowl every year in a
But
conference.
he also had a team.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, so Eli was better at one point than Peyton, but Peyton had a better team.
Peyton always had a better team. Look what he did. All right. First of all, Peyton's first year as a Colt was not the greatest, but then his second year. All right, his second year was actually his best year. All right, Eli inherited a shitty team.
So did Peyton.
Yeah, but they built around him. That was the
Are you
thing.
sure? Are you sure that Peyton didn't make Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison's career?
Well, when you got an offensive line that blocks for you, then he made him. Come on.
Come on. Like,
so I'm just gonna say. So I want to say this. I think because of the things you mentioned, because if you look at Eli's passing yards in his career, okay, he has a ton.
Yeah.
Because he won 2 Super Bowls, there's nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. I hope we get our second Super Bowl in franchise history this year. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna happen. We'll see. I do think he is a Hall of Famer. The reason why I personally don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer is because he had a career. Now you talked about him beating Peyton in 1 year in passing yards and maybe the team and I know this isn't fair. And I think you and I talked about this, Al. This isn't fair to completely put this on Eli, and I'm not. But he was a career 500 quarterback in the regular season. He led the league in interceptions 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
He was never a consideration for regular season MVP, and he was never an All-Pro. Those things as a quarterback to me are a big red flag as far as being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I never realized he wasn't an All-Pro.
Never an All-Pro.
Wow.
I thought he was.
No, never an All-Pro. He was Pro Bowler. He was never an All-Pro.
Bring up my one argument for this, because I also agree that he should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and this is why. 2 words: Jim Plunkett.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
No, but
Exactly.
I see where Eric's going with this.
right, yeah.
Eric, I mean, Jim Plunkett won Super Bowls, and Jim Plunkett was never.
He was never considered.
Jim
for the Hall of
Plunkett
Fame.
won.
He won 2, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just saying. I don't know about all the other accolades, but the man has won 2 Super Bowls.
Now the thing,
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
no, he's not, and it would almost be like,
wow, Jim Plunkett.
Now,
Ooh.
Jim Plunkett, to me, it was more of like if I'm trying to think of someone that Jim Plunkett would be like if Brad Johnson had won another Super Bowl, right? You would never even consider Brad Johnson as a Hall of Famer, but even though he had those 2 Super Bowls, although Jim Plunkett was a better quarterback than Brad Johnson, okay? So that's a fair comparison. He's the first name I can think of.
Right.
He was actually the first one I thought of, and the third one was Nick Foles. But that Nick Foles is a bad example because Nick Foles wasn't a starter long enough, and blah blah. But
there's a lot of quarterbacks.
I think Brad Johnson, who was a starter for years and years and years, and then but Eli. The only reason why I'm giving the slight edge to Eli, or the edge to Eli, I shouldn't say slight, because I do, like I said, Eli will be a Hall of Famer. Because of his career passing yards, or he has a ton.
Not the first.
I agree. Just not first ballot.
I'll tell you what.
I agree. I understand.
I do agree.
If you flip flop Philip Rivers' numbers with Eli's regular season numbers, and then gave Philip Rivers the Super Bowls, Philip Rivers is a first ballot Hall of Famer any time of day, right? But people don't look. But people don't look at Philip Rivers and go, "Oh wow, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer." Right, so that's kind of where I'm at.
And that's the thing too. I mean, listen, Philip Rivers had a great career. Okay, he did, and imagine if he had Eli's 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
Okay, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Okay, but the roles were reversed. I mean, here's a great. I know we talked about hockey for a second, but here we go. Goalies. Look at Martin Brodeur, one of the best goalies in. I wouldn't say in the world, but in NHL at that time, when you have Mike Richter, Martin Brodeur, you had these guys. Okay. Then you look at a Henrik Lundqvist that comes in out of nowhere, and he's the king of New York. Did not win a Stanley Cup. He's like the Dan Marino of hockey.
He is the Dan Marino of hockey.
Okay.
He literally is, yeah.
He is probably one of the, if not one of the best goaltenders in the world right there, I think still is Henrik Lundqvist. I am a huge listen. I'm a New York Rangers fan too. On top of it, and
that's not an unbiased opinion. Honestly, Lundqvist was one of the greatest goalies ever. He couldn't get it done because
he did not have the team.
Well, he had fucking Pittsburgh winning cups left and right. So.
Well, I mean, the one year where we should have beat LA, but Jonathan Quick stopped that one for us. And now look at where he's at. Now he's a New York Ranger.
You also have to take into consideration, okay, you guys just brought up Marino, okay? The golden child, never won a Super Bowl, Hall of Famer, okay? So you have to look at that almost like, okay, well, they don't all have to win a Super Bowl to get in.
True.
But it sure as hell helps.
Oh,
okay.
It also helps if Dan Marino was when the time he retired the all-time passing leader.
Not just but look at the league back then. the competent. I mean, Dan Marino did all this when Dallas was a factor, Pittsburgh was a factor. You know what I mean? This is back in the 70s and 80s when Pittsburgh, Dallas, Washington. Those were your Super Bowl contenders a year in and year out. You know what I mean? And Marino still hung in there. You know what I mean?
As a pocket passer.
So what you just said here, it contradicts Jason's thing. For Christ's sake, it's been determined you have to win in order to be a Hall of Famer. Just leave it. Well, no. So Dan Marino never won it. So why is he a Hall of Famer? And then on this flip side, what I just said about Eli being a 500 regular season quarterback, but yet he won the Super Bowls. So that it's like you can't have it both ways, dude. It's
exactly.
I mean, listen, but you know what's funny though that everyone does forget.
Hold on, he said, "I thought Philly fans were delusional until I heard the rest of this NFC East."
We're not delusional. Hey, at least I'm realistic. But at the end of the day, Eli did when the pressure was on and he needed to win the game, he got it done.
He's the biggest troll.
So did Doug Williams.
Here's one for you.
So did Doug Williams.
Doug Williams.
Oh, you want him to say?
Oh,
yeah.
Kurt Warner was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Less stats, less Super Bowls.
Okay, yeah, but his story is the most cried about story too.
I talk about you're in the Hall of Fame for football, not for because your wife looked like Gonzo, not because you used to stock shelves.
Like Gonzo.
Yeah, but I mean, what's his regular season record?
Papers.
She looked like fucking Ellen DeGeneres before Ellen DeGeneres turned
Like,
gay.
like what he did in the last year.
All right, so we got
Yeah, but once again, you can't really blame all that.
So
You
Sean
can't really
Sean
blame the
Jackson.
bad on solely the quarterback. The defense could suck.
No, absolutely.
I know, but I mean, like, still, it's a 500 record.
She's a
And I was the one. I'm the one that says that Philip Rivers didn't do enough to either.
Right.
Because of the fact
what does that say?
So Sean Jackson says, Sleevie G, I agree. Also, Eli came through big against Brady and the Patriots 2 times, took out Brett Favre, outplayed a prime Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Eli versus San Fran in the NFC Championship. Yeah, absolutely. No one's arguing that at all. I mean, those 2 years, was it 09 and 12, right? Am I?
But he had some bad years. Like,
yeah.
He did have bad years. I'm not.
My thing is what Sean had pointed out.
Peyton never had a bad year.
The stats for the position. Okay. For the quarterback position, there are certain things that he did not. He was like you said, he was never an all-pro. Okay. As a quarterback, to be in the Hall of Fame, that should be a prerequisite.
But it's not.
You're right. It's not.
The leading league in interceptions 3 years is that
again. You know what I'm saying? That's the point that I'm making. Is that these are things like you had said. They're red flags. You know what I mean? They're red flags that say, okay, yeah, he deserves to be in it, but maybe not yet, not the first ballot. I'm not saying he won't be a Hall of Famer. I just don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, right. And I think he is a Hall. So I think we're killing Sleevie inside.
No, it's all right.
He loves Eli. But like Eli was never considered a gunslinger, right? Like Brett Favre.
No,
Brett
he was
Favre.
not.
If Brett Favre led the league in interceptions 3 times, you're like, it makes fucking sense because he just throws it up there. Eli wasn't.
But Brett Favre also threw 40 touchdowns a year. So if he's leading the league in picks, you don't want that out of your quarterback.
He's Jameis Winston. He was Jameis Winston before Jameis.
But he was Jameis Winston with more touchdowns.
Yeah.
The 1 year Jameis Winston led the league.
I mean, he broke the touchdown league record. You know what I mean?
Did Winston lead the league in touchdowns 1 year? Did he?
Wait
Really?
a fucking minute.
All right.
You're comparing Brett Favre to Jameis fucking Winston? Are you fucking serious? Like
That's what we do, motherfucker. That's what we're doing this fucking show.
Come on.
I was just making a
All right.
point.
All right. So, all right.
So Brett Favre's one of your favorites?
Look, I don't think it matters because I think Eli gets in first ballot. I do. But looking at that class.
You like the dick pic guys?
Looking at that class, guys, I got to tell you, that class is tough. But if Eric Allen doesn't get in, we fucking riot. I got to tell you right now because Eric Allen is an absolute. He was a stud. Yeah.
I'm going to say this. Leonard Marshall, too. Super Bowl
Leonard Marshall,
absolutely.
He was a great player.
He was a sack.
I'll
he's
give
a
you
sack.
that.
And look where he's at. He's not in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't even considered. Okay.
Remember when Randall jumped over him?
Yeah. Well, listen, not for nothing.
What a fucking dick.
I struck my big black Johnson right down his.
Remember when I said payback is a bitch?
Remember when you said what?
Payback's a bitch.
All right, so you guys, here's your chance. You guys got questions for the Eagles fans?
Randall jumped right over.
You know what? Let's go in order here. Al, one of you got a question?
Actually, I wasn't even prepared yet.
All right. One of you guys got a question for
There's someone else.
Eagles fans here?
Do you think Barkley's really going to win the Super Bowl this year with you guys?
I do.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
All right. It's a good legit question, at least. You know what I mean?
I gotta say if it's against the Bills, I don't think they beat the Bills.
I do.
I think if they play anyone else, they win the Super Bowl. I don't think they can keep. I don't think they have it. I think they can slow the Bills down. I don't think they can keep up enough to outscore the Bills in the Super Bowl.
See, I do.
I will say this.
I think they can control the clock.
Okay. If they get to the Super Bowl, because I am having my hesitation against Minnesota. If we wind up playing Minnesota, I'm worried. But if they get to the Super Bowl, I think they have a damn good chance of winning it as long as you don't play Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
See, I'm kind of on the train a little bit with Eric. I'm more concerned with Minnesota than anybody we would play in the Super Bowl. I think we can slow Buffalo down and we can control the clock. How many times this year the Eagles run a 10-minute drive? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when they need that
Buffalo's defense is,
Here's
their defense is their defense is good.
It's good. It's not.
But it's not. But Pittsburgh's defense was good.
Defense was better.
Baltimore's defense was good.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They've run over these teams. And I know it's harder in the playoffs. I get it. I don't want to sound like a homer. But I think if they get through the NFC, they're winning the Super Bowl.
They see me roll.
Yeah, I mean, with what has Buffalo done? They've had their chances. They've been in this position before. I don't think
they beat the Chiefs again.
Right, and that's possible.
They beat them this year already.
Yeah,
they always beat them in the regular season.
Yeah, and
they don't do it in the and listen, I'm probably gonna get hated for this thing. I'm gonna say this: when the game is on the line with Josh Allen,
he fumbles.
All right, good. So I'm not the only one that's going to disagree on that.
I agree.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. He hasn't done it as much this year, but his pedigree is you keep
chokes.
the game close, he's going to give you a chance in the fourth quarter.
All right.
But
there's nobody.
But when he forces the throw and he doesn't run, he chokes.
Right.
All right. And listen, Buffalo Bills when they had Jim Kelly, that was an unbelievable team with Bruce Smith and everybody there.
They might not be Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore's defense might do an. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Baltimore's defense is tough.
Baltimore's pass.
Okay. Yeah, I get that we're worried about. I get that we're worried about the AFC, but the NFC, okay, is a bigger concern for me as an NFC East person. Okay, I like I said, I like the Eagles. I respect them. I'm pulling for them. Okay, even though Washington's in the playoffs, I'm pulling for the Eagles because there's a lot more riding on it for them. And I really, really think the Eagles' season, postseason, is going to, whether I'm sweating or not as an Eagles fan, is determined this Sunday. Whether Detroit or Minnesota, whoever wins that game, is determines whether or not I sweat as a Phillies fan, as a Philadelphia fan, because I don't trust going into Minnesota. I know we
Minnesota.
I have
Minnesota
no
lose
qualms
to?
about
Who
going
beat
to
Minnesota?
Detroit. I have a problem going to Minnesota.
I forget.
They
started 5-0 and then lost 2 in a row and haven't lost since.
So, all right. My thought is
the Lions beat them. No, they lost. They beat the Lions the first time.
Yeah, I don't know. So, all right. So my thought is, you give me the 14 teams that made the playoffs.
I'm sorry, Lions lost to the Lions. The Vikings lost to the Lions and the Rams 2 weeks in a row.
Rams.
Okay.
So you give me the 14 teams in the playoffs, right? You give me the field against the Eagles. I'm taking the field.
Of course
right.
you are. Yeah.
You
do it every year.
Right.
Yeah.
You're giving me one team to make it out of all the 14 teams. I'm taking the Eagles.
I agree, Mike. I agree.
I'll take the Eagles over KC. I'll take the Eagles over Buffalo. I'll take the Eagles over Minnesota. I'll take the Eagles over Detroit. Now, if you give me those 4 teams or the Eagles, I'm taking those 4 teams. But if you give me one team, I'm taking the Eagles.
I agree. Completely agree with you.
And I hopefully I'm not saying it with rose-colored glasses or whatever, green glasses. That's just what I've seen from this team.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
That was a great point, Mark.
Like if
I can see that. I can see that.
Just like a head-to-head matchup, just like with any of the teams in the playoffs, you look at it.
I'm taking the Eagles.
The Eagles should win the game.
Right.
They should.
Right.
I mean, is Minnesota? You get to Minnesota? Is that concerning? Yeah.
After all.
Well, I mean, I'm sweating every goddamn. I'm sweating
every game. I'm sweating the Washington game in the first round.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course you are.
But like until they're up 21-0. But you know what I mean?
Get that gobbler at the end of this game.
It's like me with Notre Dame yesterday.
Yeah.
And Chris Berman made this. Chris Berman made this famous. Any given Sunday.
Yep.
That's why they play the games.
Absolutely.
It's just Anybody can have a bad day. You know what I mean?
You know.
So, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who shows up.
Super Bowl? I don't want to. I actually had a question real
Yeah,
quick.
you have a question?
I do
All
have
right,
a question.
There you go.
Remember earlier in the year when I was on the show and you guys were beating up on Sirianni a little bit for his stupidity and whatnot?
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's my question.
Uh-huh.
He wins it. Is everything forgiven?
No, so I'll go first, real, because I'm going to be quick.
Because don't forget, he just did it again against the Redskins.
Yes, nothing's forgiven. I'm never going to like him. Never. But you got to give the dude his due. The dude wins. He wins. He seems to push the right buttons. They see that the players seem to like his fiery, obnoxious attitude. But again, I'm never going to I love Nick Sirianni. But you got to give him credit.
Do you think it's Sirianni, or do you think your running back running for 2,000 yards?
That helps.
No,
That helps.
matter.
But
It was
Sirianni's
the same-
leading the ship.
It was the same way in 22. It was
Right.
the same way with him. We were like, man, this fucking guy's a fucking whack
It's
job.
easier to be a
Like
head
he's a
coach.
whack job. He is. He's
Can
a-
I
he's a-
chime in?
Yeah,
Can I
go
chime
ahead.
in on this as an outsider?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I look at it. This was not Nick Sirianni's genius or anything. This was your offensive coordinator, brother. Okay. I hate to tell you, but your offensive coord, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that dude came in and completely changed the way your offense was run as soon as they found out y'all got Saquon. Changed it.
I'm actually
Your
going to
the offense this year is completely different than the offense y'all were running last year.
Wait a minute.
Hold on,
Let's not forget.
hold
Let's not forget what our defensive coordinator has done with these.
I agree,
absolutely.
but I'm just saying. It's not precious Nick. I'm with Alan. I don't like Nick. I don't.
But
I
Al-
give him
but
his
Alex-
credit.
hold on.
I give him his credit, but I don't think he deserves as much credit as he's going to get. I really don't. This was your offensive and defensive coordinators coming in, revamping the team, and all Nick did was sit back and go, "Yeah, all right, now I can work with this shit.
So here's the thing.
Now I can work with this shit."
So Al said something about he didn't run that much, but Ezekiel Elliott's best years
were with
Kellen Moore.
Well, it's because we had the great offensive line.
Kind of like the Eagles.
So the Eagles
Right.
do too.
Exactly.
The only thing I'll say this about Nick too.
I'm basically saying Kellen matured a lot more since when he was at Cowboys.
Oh, he totally did. He's a different
Yeah.
coordinator than
Oh,
he
yeah,
was,
absolutely.
like even with the Chargers.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Sirianni, I'm kind of the same way about Sirianni. I feel
I got a different
weird
opinion.
about him.
I got a different opinion on it.
I'm not as
Putting it
adamant-
nicely.
I'm not as one-sided as Ryan is, but he makes me feel weird. He does. He does. He makes me feel weird. Like it's indifferent. Like I
Kind
don't
of
know.
like your little league baseball coach.
Just like him.
Yeah.
Just like him. Like I like playing for him, but I don't like the way he touched me after the games. So I'm
He
just gonna
makes your tape tingle.
I'm just gonna run through things real quick. Sirianni is now second behind George Seifert for the most wins after his first 4 years of the season, right? Sirianni's career win percentage of 702 is fifth highest in NFL history. Sirianni's winning percentage is the 15th highest ever by his coach in his first 4 years with a new team. He's on a list in that with what I just said. Joe Gibbs, Chuck Knox, George Allen, John Shula are all Hall of Famers. Okay, that's ridiculous. Sirianni is one of only 3 Eagles coaches with 4 total winning seasons. Greasy Neal in his first 4 seasons. Greasy Neal was the other one, and Andy Reid. The Eagles 0.702 winning percentage since Sirianni became head coach in 2021 is the 3rd best in franchise history in any non-overlapping 4-year period. I don't know what the fuck that means. Oh, because apparently it's the Steelers.
No,
It was a Steelers thing. Sirianni joins Dick Vermeil and Andy Reid as the 3rd Eagles coach to reach the postseason at least 4 times, which is sad. Sirianni and Greasy Neal are the only Eagles head coaches whose teams have made multiple single-season winning streaks of at least 8 games.
Yeah, 3 years in a row they have had
That's
10-game winning streaks.
Ridiculous.
I have to comment.
Not 10.
I have
Because this is the
I
first
have
year to
to-
make
I
10.
have to comment on this
Hey,
list.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I get what Sean's all the facts he's pointing out and everything. But what y'all are failing to realize, or maybe you do realize it and you just don't want to acknowledge it. Nick came in to a stacked team.
No, we didn't.
No, he didn't.
Oh,
No, he
yes,
didn't.
he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
No, he
did.
didn't. No, he
He
didn't.
did not have to
You didn't know
rebuild
what you were doing at
anything.
quarter. You didn't know what you were doing at quarterback because of what happened with Carson Wentz. You didn't know about Jalen Hurts yet. There was many questions about his arm.
They were like
They didn't
4-12.
have. They didn't have a receiver. They didn't have linebackers. They didn't have safeties. Their defense was
had a
terrible.
lot
They
of
were
weapons.
not stacked.
They
Eric.
had 5 wins the year before.
Right,
Eric.
they were not stacked.
Do you know who really Sirianni has to thank for all those wins? Howie Roseman, your real MVP.
Absolutely. Look at this.
That's your real MVP.
I agree.
Hold
I
on.
agree.
All right, my turn.
So
My
hold on,
turn.
the last 2 things.
All right.
Sirianni's the first Eagles coach who hasn't had a losing streak at least 4 games at any point in his first 4 years since Jim Tremble, who was the Eagles coach in 1952 to 1955.
What was that? A losing streak of 4 straight?
4 straight. He has not had it. And then Sirianni's the only the 6th coach in NFL history to take his first 4 teams to the playoffs. The first 5 are Paul Brown and the Browns, Chuck Knox, the Rams, John Robinson of 83 to 86, and Bill Cowher, and John Harbaugh of 2008 to 2012. That's it. That's the fucking list. That is not something to sneeze at. I don't love the guy. Mike, go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
don't give a shit about the extracurricular. I don't give a shit about the drama. I don't give a shit about this. Oh, what the WIP is doing. Oh, AJ Brown's spouting off. He's fighting with the fans. This and that. He's an embarrassment. Blah 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 blah. Like, he fucking wins. He wins. The players respect him. The players are behind him. He's had the best start to a coaching career that the Eagles have ever had. He's projecting to be the best Eagles coach that they've ever had. What else is there? Like, fuck everything else.
They're predicting
He
to be
wins.
a better coach than Andy Reid.
He might be.
Look
at the way
for the Eagles.
now.
And
for
look
the
at the
first 4 years, he's made 1 Super Bowl, something that Andy Reid's never done.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Okay, they did make it. Okay, right. He made 1 Super Bowl, and he's made the playoffs the last 4 years.
5 total games too.
5 title games. Okay, that's true. He's projected to be in the the second or third title game. I guess only the second.
No,
It would be the second one. It would be the second.
Oh no,
conference title.
for Nick, yeah, it'd be a second.
The second title game. Okay. And Andy did it in like 11 years or so.
He was here for 14.
14 years.
14 years. So if he gets to a title game this second year in his 4th year, he's projected
The guys
to be
play
better.
for him, man.
Absolutely. Look at the way they're built. Like Nick Sirianni might be here another 10 years.
So Eric, we want
And you know what? I don't give a
jump.
shit about all the stupid shit that he
Yeah.
does. If he's here another
He
10
wins.
years and they're winning, like,
Right.
maybe we just set aside like the quirkiness and the
Right. Like I hate it. I'll never like it.
I don't care.
Right.
Like you hate it. You lean into the drama more than I do. With
Right.
the shit.
Right.
The
I'm
players love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Players
players
love
love him. The results are on the field. So he's this quirky guy. If he's here another 6 years and he goes to 2 more Super Bowls, maybe gets 1. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
If he gets a second,
So-
no, he gets a first one. If he gets a first one,
that buys him another 5 years.
Guess what? Andy Reid never won here.
right? So I'm wondering if he gets one,
I think that was
and
more
the
Carson
NFC
Wentz, though, that
Championship
just blew
games,
everything up.
he gets like 2 more. If he gets to the 3 NFC Championship games and wins the Super Bowl, he's the best coach that the Eagles may have ever had, right?
What's the question?
If he makes 3 championship games and wins a Super Bowl, does that make him the best coach?
No. Andy Reid went to 5 of them.
Yeah, but he only
But if he wins,
wins one.
but if he wins the Super Bowl,
If he wins one.
Understood, but Andy Reid competed for the Super Bowl for like 11 out of them 14 years. Let's slow down on him being better than Reid.
You can't use that as an equation. You're using the fact that he made it to the Super Bowl as a thing a feather in the cap. Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl with him, but he was not their greatest coach.
all right.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
saying
Not
if he
by a
makes
long shot.
3 and wins 1.
But I'm also looking at all the 10 stats I just jumped at.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
Those are nothing to sneeze at. Like he's in historical company.
Right,
With
like
that list.
I give credit where credit's due. The
if
man,
this
like
continues
you've all
for
said,
another
the man
5
wins.
years,
The man wins.
okay, you call him
know?
the best coach we've ever had.
But right now, Andy Reid.
But right now, it's still
too early.
Andy
It's
Reid.
too early.
Right.
So, Eric, I didn't mean to jump at you, but I just want to point this out. When Nick Sirianni took over this team, right, and the team was starting off, he took over a 5-win team, and his receivers were like Jalen Reagor and Arcega-Whiteside
And Travis Fulgham.
and Travis Fulgham. Like those are literally his receivers. He had a defense that was
Greg
in
Ward.
shambles. Yeah, Greg Ward was your starting receiver until 2 years ago. Like
Smallwood was your running back.
You're right.
Yeah, Wendell Smallwood, right?
Now he's under investigation.
You turn around
for
like
embezzlement.
you always had a good offensive line, which is true. You had the likes of Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey on your line. You had those guys on your line. Yeah, your center and your right side are covered.
Peters too for the longest time.
Right side.
But then you had to build all that, and so Devontae Smith, AJ Brown was in a trade. That whole defense, Jalen Carter,
Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter.
all those guys were drafted after Sirianni took over. So I didn't mean to jump on you about that. Like,
No. I get it.
But they weren't stacked
But I
when
guess
they-
the point I'm trying to make is that even that, like you all said, that wasn't Sirianni's doing. That was Roseman. That was
No,
how
but-
he.
Joe Walsh is the best coach ever, and he had Joe Montana. Bill Belichick.
Right,
Like
right.
like everybody gets like
Right, like at some point though, like he's the one leading the parade. Like here, like you got to give him some kind of credit.
Oh, I do. I'm not disputing that. The guy wins, plain and simple. I mean, so he's doing something right. Like Sean said, and you guys said, he just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't dig him as a dude. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying the dude doesn't know what he's doing or that, you know what I'm saying, that he can't
Oh, you
coach.
started it.
I mean, everything Sean just read is
Valid
fact.
question.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's all fact. You
He
can't
said,
dispute
I
it.
don't take him as a dude.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion?
So if he was wearing a dress, would you dig him?
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I honestly
Sorry, I
think-
couldn't resist that one.
You had to.
Do I
That's the
think
name of the show.
Sirianni is
I
good?
don't
Yeah,
think
he's not
he's
that
a
coach
dude.
at all. Do I think he needs to grow up a little bit
He
when it
does.
comes to that?
Absolutely, I
Do I think a
100%
lot
agree
of
with
it-
you.
A lot of it has to do with Roseman and Saquon.
He's
and
a
the
rah
people
rah
that-
guy. He's a rah rah guy.
You know what?
Shishkumba.
If the players, it's kind of like a placebo.
What the fuck?
If the players believe it's him, fuck it. let it
Right.
go.
What does it matter, right?
Absolutely.
It
Was
doesn't
Bill,
matter.
You know,
was Bill,
okay, this is the only analogy I can think of.
If it makes the players
all right, so Eric's got it.
happy, yes.
This
I
is the
actually
only
have it.
analogy that
Yeah.
that I can think of. Okay, this is how I think of Nick Sirianni. If one of us couch coaches got up and started to coach the team,
Nah.
if one of us couch coaches sat back and said, "I'm talking about his maturity level. I'm not talking about his."
Oh,
coaching
absolutely.
ability. I'm talking
Absolutely.
about his
I'd be out
maturity
there
level.
acting like a nut. Absolutely.
You know what I
fuck
mean?
You don't like
I'm
my
not
play
talking
call.
about-
Fuck you.
I'm
Yeah,
not
you're
talking
talking
about
about
football
guys.
knowledge.
Right,
I'm talking
right.
about, he's almost like your biggest fan getting up there and being the coach. You know what I mean? That's how he
Come on over, we'll
acts.
plant some rose bushes.
Yeah, I'll make some pizza.
So,
Pizza bushes.
Sean Jackson's been one of the more popular commenters tonight. Thank you, Sean, for tuning in tonight, man. He said, Sean, what playoff team are you most confident in and least confident about your Eagles playing NFC playoffs? And also, how do you feel about the Eagles firing Andy and success with the Chiefs? Look, I got to be honest. We talked about it.
It
when-
was time.
It was time. He was here for 14 years. The Eagles had struggled 2 years in a row. They didn't look like they had any sense of direction.
He lost them.
Yeah.
It got stale.
New place, new time. That was fine.
There was a lot of shit going on with his kids, which I'm sure distracted
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Right.
and stuff.
Like-
Like it, he needed a change.
It was
of-
time.
Yeah.
It was time.
I don't
Game's
hold
a
any
hell of a
and like
drug.
and the success of the Chiefs.
Good for him.
And
Good for him.
most confident. I have. I mean, look. Most confidence. It's a strong term. I guess between the teams they're going to play, if it's Green Bay or Washington. I mean, I personally, for a vendetta reason, I want Washington because I think. And Eric, no offense, dude, but like when the Washington beat the second string quarterback of the Eagles, they act like it was a Super Bowl. Dan Quinn came in. Who's the heavy hitters now? Motherfucker, you still lost the NFC East next week.
Straighten your hat,
it's like it's not like you beat a second string quarterback, and our starting safety got ejected for bullshit. That game was a mess. Officially officiated as a mess. Look, I'm not going to give I'm going to give a lot of credit to Jaden Daniels because what he did in that game was incredible. He had a great game. That's not happening in the playoffs. And so I kind of want Washington, but I'm totally okay with the Eagles taking on Green Bay. We already beat them once. This defense is better than it was in week 1. I'm okay with either team. So either one of those teams I'm good with. If it's Tampa Bay, I'm good with them too. So, in the second round or where if they get to that point. The least confident, obviously you got to go with the Lions or the Vikings. One of those teams. But you ask playoffs in general, it's the Bills. The Bills to me are the team I'm most scared of. I think the Eagles can beat both the Lions and the Vikings. The Bills are the team I'm looking at going, shit, then we might give them their first Super Bowl. I'm going
to be honest with you. Yeah. I'm going to say this. Vikings and the Lions defense. If you watch the last few games, if you think about how they won their games, hasn't been blowouts. They've been too tight. They could have gone either way.
Vikings have won I think 10 games, 1 score.
Yeah.
That defense is legit.
Their defense is legit, but there's holes in their defense. You could easily pick them apart if you have, the Eagles offense. I'm going to say this right now. I wouldn't be worried too much about the Vikings than I would be with the Lions because Dan Campbell's, I think, a little bit better coach. I would be more worried about the Lions defense than the Vikings defense. As a Giants fan, I'll be honest with you. I think if the Eagles play the Vikings, I see the Eagles rocking the Vikings at their stadium. First of all, the offensive line, you guys have an offensive line right now that's probably one of the best in the NFL right now. Point proven, 2,000-yard record right there, okay? That's one. 2, you have a steady quarterback. Granted, I know he's been hurt. He's in concussion protocol or he should be back. But I think he'll be playoff ready.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to say that. Washington, I love the way Washington's been playing. Jalen Daniels is the real deal quarterback. Okay. As much as he and McCarthy could have fallen on the Giants' laps, 2 quarterbacks I would have loved to see in as a Giant uniform. Okay. I look at both quarterbacks. I look at Hurts. I look at Daniels. I look at unbelievable quarterbacks right there with unbelievable teams. 2 different coaches, 2 different styles. Am I a fan of Sirianni? Not particularly. But he's winning right now. As much as he calls out stupid bullshit, he does dumb stuff too on the field and off the field. When I look at Quinn, he's such a great defensive mind. That's what makes that one of the Redskins' greatest points. And he is a coach. If you look at what he did when he was with the Falcons, is a great point right there. Mm-hmm. He went to the Super Bowl with the Falcons. Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe not this year, but he could take the Redskins, as I always say Redskins, so I'm sorry. Commanders to me is
no, you don't need to apologize. There's nobody on this
I know
this panel that's going to be upset about
that shows how old school I am. I know them as Redskins. Okay.
We all know them as Redskins.
And the Redskins are about a year away to even making the Super Bowl, I think. They got all the pieces. They just got to get over that little bit of a hump on the defensive side a little bit. That's about it. I think they're a solid football team. Cowboys, I'm going to say it as a Giants fan, they do have a team, but something there, they're saying that they're playing for McCarthy. I don't think they're playing for McCarthy. They're playing for their pride of who they stand for, what that star stands for. Jones, step down.
The star's going upstairs before you finish, before he goes upstairs. I just hope that McCarthy and Jones just stay forever.
He said, shut your mouth.
He said, shut your mouth, you dirty slut.
I think Jones needs to step down as the GM. Just be the owner and play in the owner's box. You're getting too old. You're old school. You want your $1 billion freaking multi-screen up there, making sure everyone sees it.
Nope.
Step down as the GM. McCarthy?
No. He can stay. He's fine.
No, he's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
don't,
Let him,
like-
let him stay.
No,
alone.
McCarthy just needs something. I don't know what he needs.
Too.
Gary, look at the camera. Tell me he doesn't look like Mike McCarthy.
He does. I thought it was Mike McCarthy when we started the show. But and the Giants, I'm just gonna say it, rehaul everything.
Well, why don't we do this, right? Because we are
Yeah,
we got it. So, Sleevie, while you're talking, give your closing remarks as far as your Giants franchises. Guys,
And what do you think is going to happen in the playoffs?
Yeah, because you're about to get into it, but
yeah.
Why don't you give your closing remarks as far as your franchise and what you want to see happen, and
right.
and in closing your remarks, what's going to happen in the playoffs? Give it. You know what? How about this? At the end of your closing remarks, Super Bowl prediction. How's
No
that?
problem. Sounds
All right,
good.
cool.
That's easy enough.
Cool. All right. Cool.
Giants. John Mara's got to step up big time as the owner. So does Steve Tisch. I think you need to fire Dable and hire the offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions. That's my thing right now. The defense is actually pretty good when everyone's healthy. I think the defense is a key part of the Giants and the special teams. If we win against the Eagles Sunday and we drop to 9th in the draft pick, just trade for McCarthy right now. Okay, even if you don't give up the first round, please just get me another speedy wide receiver. I can only hope Hunter's there, but I'm not banking on it. Okay. Just fire Dable and give Shane one more year. If he does horrible with the picks, then fire his ass. What do I think of the franchise? I am predicting for next year at least 5 wins, hopefully. I'm just hoping a better coach, a better offensive line, and that's all I could say on that. The defense is stacked. You got Brian Burns. You got Sexy Dexy. You got Thibodeau, who actually does play when he's not injured. You do have some great corners and a great middle linebacking core. You just got to put it together and find the right defensive coach, I think. Super Bowl prediction. Eagles, Chiefs, Eagles win it.
Yeah, go Birds!
I'm going to say it. And you know what? I'm probably getting shitted on as all the Giants fans are probably cursing me out saying that. But I'm being straightforward. I don't.
Complete team, man.
They're complete. They are finally a complete team, and they're scary. When I said it in the beginning of the year, once Barkley signed with them, I'm just like, they're going to be one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC East. And then after seeing Jaden Daniels play in Washington, then I started believing that Washington was going to be a team up there.
Okay.
They're definitely a team on the rise. Eric, the floor is yours for your closing statements about your Washington Redskins team and Super Bowl prediction.
Okay, so I think the Redskins are on pace to make some moves. So, and not personnel moves, just some moves as a team. This year we've really shown up, and I think we've got the talent right now to make a move and push forward. But like the other guy said, I do think they do need to beef up the secondary and the defense. But once that happens, if that happens, I really think they're going to be a hell of a contender in the NFC East. And it's going to make some exciting football for the next, I'd say, at least 2 or 3 years. I think we're going to be contenders, so it'll be good. Super Bowl prediction. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut. Bills, the Eagles. Eagles 38, Bills 34.
Oh, look at this!
I didn't give a score. I couldn't do the score.
That's all good, man. Damn. Look at this. All right, so Mike, why don't you do our closing argument for Eagles while we're waiting for Al to come back from his fucking smoke? God damn it!
Wow, I didn't really know I was doing closing remarks, but I'll make it work. No,
well, I mean, he did our opening. Why don't you do our
good.
closing? Yeah. Let's see if I can do solo here. Hold on.
I think.
No, I can't. All right.
Okay, so I think that the Eagles are in a good position. I think they're in a good position now. I think they're in a good position in the future. Love what Howie's done with the team. I like Nick Sirianni. I think that he's the coach of the future because of what he's done. I don't have any real concerns about the team right now. I think that the defense is young. They're hungry. The secondary is revamped. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Gardner Johnson, Zach Bond's going to be. Hopefully, they can find a way to replace or get him back.
They're going to sign him. They're
going to re-sign him.
Yeah, they're going to re-sign him.
And obviously the offense. You got Saquon, you got Goddard, you got AJ, you got Devontae. A nice slot receiver would be nice, but again, overall, they're going to continue to build through the trenches. I think that they're in position to be great this year and continue to be great. I told you right now, you give me the Eagles against any of the other 14 teams, I'm taking them. I think I'm going to go with Gomez. I'm going to say that it's the Eagles and the Chiefs. I think that until the Chiefs are knocked off, I'm not saying that the Bills are going to be able to knock off the Chiefs. And I think that the Eagles get revenge off of the Chiefs from a couple of years ago. They don't let a bad pass interference call come into play.
Right.
And they win it. So that's mine. Al's still not here, so we got to fill some time. Sean, I guess your closing remarks while you're.
No, I think you're right. Sorry, I'm texting Al right now as he's out for a smoke. Sorry. No, I agree. I think there's very slim things. There are very few things that this team needs right now. I think they've drafted. First of all, they got incredibly lucky.
Yes.
I really, the fact that 2 cornerbacks, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, have worked out for them. The fact that Zach Bond, who was an under the radar signing, who no one kicked the tires on,
he was a special teams player.
Yeah,
right. And the fact that he was your starting linebacker and he has become a Pro Bowl
Vic.
linebacker. These are things that it's almost like a perfect storm. These things.
Those are your X factors.
Yeah, like
those are your X factors.
They got lucky as hell with all these things, and there's no other word for it. It's not like they didn't know Zach Bond was. Zach Bond became a Pro Bowl, right? He said he laughed when he signed his contract. Did you see that article? He got his contract from his agent, and he laughed at his agent. He goes, Pro Bowl incentive for a Pro Bowl? I ain't making no fucking Pro Bowl.
I know shit.
He laughed. He's like, look, it's not that I don't want to be a Pro Bowl, but he's like, at this point in my career, I thought I was going to be like a second stringer special teams guy on this team. He's like, the fact that I got into a Pro Bowl and I got an extra $500K, he's like, it's awesome.
For him, that's a lot of money.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Did the Eagles re-sign him?
No, they have to resign him. They have to resign him.
That's the biggest reason the Eagles are contenders this year.
The
And not the biggest. Let me rephrase that. They played a big part. Is the X factor.
Yeah.
The X. Every team that has that season of greatness, and this is why I think the Eagles will win, because they have the X factor. Bond, DeJean. I mean, these are people you never heard of them before this season.
Right.
You know what I mean? They weren't factors.
The
and
fact
now
that
they're big factors.
Actually, I think the biggest factor on defense is Nakobe Dean.
Well, Dean was huge, and the fact that both Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter played a full season of competitive football this year.
Yeah.
Right? Because last year
Yeah,
they were smoked.
And you don't even see it. We went to, like, as Eagles fans, we went into the year this year worrying if Jordan Davis was a bust.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not.
No,
he's not.
That interior line is incredible. And so but yeah, so that's it. I already gave my prediction. I unfortunately I think the Bills get us, but I hope we make the Super Bowl. All right, so Al, your closing arguments about your Dallas Cowboys
and the Super Bowl
and the Super Bowl prediction at the end of it.
Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Who's going to win?
Going? Who's winning? Whatever you want for Super Bowl. But, you open floor.
So Sean, by the way, while you're thinking,
okay,
all right, think about it. Guys, don't underestimate the Packers. Got a feeling they're going to be a wild card underdog team that can make noise in the playoffs. Yeah,
could be.
They could be. They very well could be. I just look at it if they're playing the Eagles in the first round. First of all, it's here. Second, the Eagles beat them already in the first week of the year, which both teams are different. But to me, the Eagles are a better team than they were in week 1. And
I don't know if the Packers are a better team.
I don't think they are. Jordan Love.
I think the Packers are the same team that they were in week
Yeah, like their running game doesn't scare me. The defense does. Actually,
I like Jacobs.
They lost their starting corner, so that's huge for them. He's out for probably
it's
the playoffs.
Alexander.
Yeah, he's out for the year. So
He led the league in interceptions.
that's huge. That's huge. So I'm not worried about the Packers. I don't want to say I'm not worried about the Packers. You're worried about any playoff team you play.
Yep.
You really, honestly, it's the NFL, right? Any given Sunday. But,
I'm at the point like I don't
Not
give
for
a
long.
fuck who they play.
yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
Like the Eagles play to their potential. They're going to the Super Bowl.
If they play to potential, no one's beating them. All right.
All right, so Al,
All right, Al.
go for it.
Okay. First of all,
We got
Cowboys need to clean house. But nothing's going to take as long as Jerry Jones is playing GM. He's not a GM. His son's not a GM. Bring in someone. It's never going to happen. So, but my dream scenario right now, get rid of.
Is that the Eagles win the Super Bowl and you join our bandwagon?
Who you, TJ?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
Are you churning?
I shouldn't interrupt it.
Are
I'm
you
sorry.
churning with TJ
I
in the corner
apologize.
right now?
I said a sorry.
They obviously need to get rid of both their coaches. Defense. The only one I would keep is Al Harris. I like Al Harris. He's a good secondaries coach. My dream scenario, get it. Johnson from
Ben Johnson from
Ben
Lions.
Johnson is the head coach, and get the Jets' old head coach as their defensive coordinator.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Follow.
Okay.
And sadly, I don't care either way. As long as I get paid the money, I don't care. I bet. That's what I do now. I've not, I bet on overs, unders, parlays, whatever. Eagles are going to win.
Win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Hit it beaten.
This is fucking crazy. I gotta be honest. This is nuts.
NFC East all agree on one team.
Honestly, I think
I'm the only one, right?
I
I'm
think
the
it's
only
gonna
one who
be a
says they're
revenge
not going
game
to win the
against the
Super Bowl.
Chiefs.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
This
I
is
think
crazy.
I said the same thing.
You just gotta realize that you're
Yeah.
an Eagles fan. You're an Eagles fan. You're an educated Eagles fan. Okay, and that's your worry. The Bills are a legit worry. Okay, but us, the rest of us here, like NFC East, there's no other. I mean, the NFC East, there's no other contender. You're it.
No,
you
we
know what I
don't
mean.
have to wait for the
Washington,
week at all.
yeah, Washington's going to show up for their wild card game, but they're not
But
going to
a
go
rookie,
deep.
a rookie's
They're
not
not
going
gonna
to
go
go. You're right.
Can I just say one thing too?
Yeah.
Not for nothing. Lately, if you guys have been watching football lately in the NFC East, there have been monster hits. That Cowboy game, the Giants game, the Eagles games, even the Redskins games. They've been some vicious hits. You don't see that shit in the AFC. So if you smack the Buffalo Bills one time hard, they're done.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think our defensive line can get to Josh Allen.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Not saying that he gets rattled because the dude's a fucking hell of a quarterback, but
Look what you did against Lamar, right?
Right, like
Yeah.
you hit him.
Yeah.
You cause a fumble. You go up 13-0.
I mean, I'm look at.
Like I'm on the
My-
other side of you, Sean. I think the Eagles go to the Super Bowl and beat the Bills.
I mean, and I'm not saying it's impossible or anything like that. Like if we get to that point, and it depends how we look in the playoffs, I might feel different by the time we get there. But if you look at the Baltimore Ravens, I don't want to be like we would end this, but the Ravens offense and then the Bills offense, like obviously you look at the Ravens offense, you're like Jesus Christ, Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers and then
Lamar Jackson.
Right, and Lamar
yeah.
Jackson, and then you got Josh Allen, but a running game who doesn't. I'm sorry, I'm not scared of James Cook. Like,
James Cook's been pretty good.
yeah, he has,
But he's
Yeah,
not.
between
He's not.
the two, like
He's not Derrick Henry.
no, he's not
No.
Derrick Henry. And then the receivers, I'm like, okay, like they have Shakir and like
Amari Cooper.
Like, come on, like come
Here's
on.
the thing: when you look at the Bill, when you see the AFC Championship Bills versus Chiefs, Chiefs are going to actually surprise everybody because they have no name receivers.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
And
it's,
they're-
it's an old ass Hopkins.
Okay.
It's Juju,
That's it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
And the
But,
rookie Xavier, right? Xavier
yeah.
Worthy.
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy. Patrick Mahomes is carrying that team. And what's their record? 14-1, 15-1?
No,
One goddamn loss.
Yeah.
And that's to the Bills. And the Bills only show up during the regular season on top of it.
And it was in Buffalo.
Okay, in Buffalo where it was snowing 2 feet that day.
Yeah.
This
That's
Eagles
true.
defense is young.
Okay, guys, in
aggressive,
closing,
and
because
they
I have
hit.
to go.
Yeah.
In closing, I just want to say, thank you for having me on. This was an absolute blast. I mean, we got to do this more often because it was fun having the round. I mean, seriously, getting everybody's take on it and stuff like that was really, really
One right before the Super Bowl.
Just to hear everybody's take. But I will say this: back in the day, when I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, teams were scared to death to play the NFC East because, like you were saying, we hit, we play the game.
Yeah,
you know, people would fear play any of the 4 teams. They would be terrified to play anybody in the NFC East. That's where I see us going.
Smash
It's starting with the Eagles and the Redskins, where we are right now, and then the Giants and the Cowboys are going to be coming along in the next couple of years. But we are going to have that dominance again because we are look at our running games. I mean, you know what I mean? We're dominating the running games. So I'm just saying it's really a physical division. Our division is the most physical. I don't care what anybody says. We have the most physical division in the NFL. And I really think we're going to bring that back in the next few years, which is going to be great for the sport.
It'll be fun. Yeah, that's awesome.
Get back to being the
But
best.
again, thanks a lot, guys. I really
Eric,
appreciate
thanks for
it.
joining us.
Thanks
so much,
man.
Absolutely.
It's
Y'all
fun,
have
man.
a good night.
You
All
too,
right,
bro.
take care.
Alex, anything you want to plug before we call it a show here? Absolutely, you do. Come on.
You know, first of all, I got to thank you guys for allowing me to be with you guys tonight. I've been dying to come on for a while, and you know, I really appreciate you having me on tonight. You know, you guys get a chance, check out my show, Sleevie G Show.
It's a fun show.
You know, Sean and I, it's kind of funny when Sean came, when we started talking, I kind of said in my highlight, what happens when you get an Eagle fan and a Giants fan in a show? And to be honest with you, had to be the coolest conversation I ever had with an Eagles fan.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Okay. Tonight.
Till today.
No, actually, you know what? I'm going to just tell you.
Find you on Facebook.
We had a great time. As a Giants fan, a Redskins fan, a Cowboy fan, Eagles fan, I'll tell you, it's probably one of the best conversations I had in a long time.
Nice.
You know,
Thank you, brother.
That's awesome, man. We're so glad you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Listen, did I get ripped a little bit here and there? Yeah, I did. But you know what? That's part of it. If you're not getting ripped, you're not doing something right. That's the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Giants would really need a coach, I'll gladly take the damn Giants job and make them into Super Bowl contenders.
We can send McCarthy.
Put me the fuck in there. I can do it.
We'll send you McCarthy.
After the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I think Kellen Moore ends up
So,
there
Alex,
as a Giants coach.
I asked Al, would you take Nick?
I'm going to be honest with you. No.
Okay.
I'm not. There's something about Nick, like Sean said before, there's something about him that it's not even his quirkiness. It's the way he gels with people. Listen, I'm not saying the Eagles, the Philadelphia area is not a huge sports like New York. But when you think about New York, you're talking about New York Yankees. Yeah. You're talking about the New York Yankees, 26 World Series championships. Or 27, I'm sorry.
27.
New York Rangers hockey, New Jersey Devils hockey. You have the New York Knicks. Yeah, that's about it. Because I don't include Islanders or the Nets or the other Mets and the Jets. I don't give a crap about Juan Soto signing with the New York Mets. He was never a Yankee to begin with. He never had the heart. Okay? He never had heart. He has no heart. Here's the thing. When you look at the past captains of the New York Yankees, and I'm going to say it, Don Mattingly, Derek Jeter, now Aaron Judge, they didn't ask for suites for their families. They paid for their suites. What gives you the freaking right to think you deserve a suite for your family? Okay? The Yankees offered him a fair 16 years, $760 million. You went for that $5 extra million. Go be a Met and break your leg. That's all I care. I mean, honestly, there's no future with the Mets. Never has, never will be. He's a Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, it's that sense of entitlement.
Yep.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I think that's another.
And I look at the games that the Yankees played against the Phillies in the World Series a few times. I'll tell you, some of the best games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I love the Philly. I love Philly. If I wasn't living in Jersey, two cities I would love to live in is Philly is one of them and Boston's the other. I just would never wear a Red Sox hat.
Yeah.
But I love Philly. Philly's been there so many times. I love the city. I love the vibe in Philly a lot. I had friends who live in Philly. Matter of fact, my cousins lived 25 minutes outside of Philly at one point. And they lived in Pottstown at one point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, Pennsylvania is a part of me. My brother-in-law lives in Pennsylvania. So for me, PA has a special place in my heart. I'm always going to be a diehard New Yorker. Okay. I bleed blue look at the teams I love. It's Sleevie. We need to kidnap a person to learn how to build an offense. I'm going to be honest with you. Anybody can build an offensive line. You just got to get the right people.
Well, you need to draft guys.
Look,
I mean, that's the thing. You need to draft. You need to draft linemen.
Jordan Mailata was a rugby player. They got lucky again.
Stoutland University.
Lucky.
Yes.
Lucky.
I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, I think you don't look for the Division I always.
No.
Listen, I played high school football. I coached high school football. One thing I learned about playing football and coaching it is that you got to know your players. You got to look at what they can do. You need to make sure the team gels correctly. You got to know how to push their buttons. I look at Trey Lance as a great example. He was a Division I AA quarterback that went in the NFL draft and was picked in the top 20, I think he was. Didn't get a chance with San Fran because you had Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, and Jimmy Garoppolo at that time. You give Trey Lance a chance, I think he could be a great NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He just needs a chance.
I actually agree. I think Trey Lance could be a really good quarterback in this league.
I think he could be a scary quarterback.
He's
if he
not
gets a chance.
He's not going to chance.
He's not going to get a chance.
He never will be.
I want them to start him like 3 games ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got to disagree because I mean, you're telling me that he can't beat out the backup in Dallas.
Cooper Rush is the name. That's the only reason.
Dude, I don't know.
Is Cooper Rush a name?
Cooper Rush been there for 7 years, Mike, and every time he goes in for an extended period, he competes.
Yeah.
He does.
Why they trade for him?
It's Jerry Jones.
He was trying to back up in case Dak didn't get signed. He wanted a young quarterback.
Yeah.
And he did the right thing.
He had a third string quarterback that he wanted to jump over Cooper Rush to be the first string.
Well, if he didn't re-sign Dak, you're not going to start Rush.
What do you think Brock Purdy was? He was a third string quarterback who hopped up because of injuries.
Well, he hopped up over 2 people because 2 people got injured.
Right.
I forgot who was the starting quarterback that year.
Well, for the
it was Lance. He got hurt in the first game.
And then Garoppolo went in.
And then Garoppolo went in, got hurt. Lance came back in, played like shit.
And then Purdy.
Then Garoppolo came back in, got hurt again. Then they started Purdy.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember how that went.
I don't think that Lance is. I don't think
It was a
Lance
lot. It was a turnstile of unfortunate events.
I think that Lance is. I think that Lance had his chance.
We haven't seen him.
Yeah, but you know what?
He didn't have a chance.
No, he did.
He did in the preseason. I will give you
He
that.
played 3 games.
Yeah, but he's a third stringer on the Cowboys. If he was good enough, he'd be playing.
Not really.
I tend to agree with Mike.
What about Nick Foles?
Nick Foles was a third.
And
he's a Super Bowl hero.
But he started for a while.
He was the Eagles starter.
Before he left and then came back.
And then left, and everyone gave up on him, and he came back. I'm just poking the fire.
Nobody gave up on him. He didn't leave.
I'm just poking the fire.
Chip Kelly traded
Gary
him.
thinks he should be in the Hall of
Chip
Fame.
Kelly traded him to the Rams.
And what
That's
did
how
you
we
do
got
on the
Bradford.
Rams?
Yeah.
What did you do on the Rams?
It was terrible.
Not a
for the Rams.
goddamn thing.
What did you do on the Chiefs?
7-9.
I feel like if you become a Ram after a Super Bowl, I don't know. It's something about that. I mean, there's
Someone becoming a Ram aside from being someone named Kurt Warner. Like honestly,
or Matt Stafford. He did.
Matt Stafford. Yeah.
Matt Stafford.
You got to look at those stats.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But for me, guys, total honor to be with you guys. I really hope we could do it again. I enjoyed the company, the conversation. I gotta say, as a football fan, you guys were awesome. Stat wise, the teams like I do. We know what's there. We know what we have. We know what's going on, and that's something I rarely see in conversation, guys. So I really appreciate you guys having me on. It was really cool, and I hope to do it again with you guys.
Did you want us to send you McCarthy? Because we can send them to you real quick.
No, you can keep. I'd rather have JJ McCarthy, not Mike McCarthy.
No, it's a package deal. You get one McCarthy, you get the other.
No. One's
So
a
one more
Viking, the other one's a Cowboy.
So one last question for you.
Yeah.
You made your point clear about the ball. Who's your head coach next year?
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore ain't being head coach again.
Yes.
He never was a head coach.
He was never a head coach. I'm going to be honest with you. Either
He was a
Kellen Moore.
quarterback and then the offensive coordinator.
I'm going to say there's two guys who deserve the opportunity to become a new head coach. The offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, which I forgot his name.
Ben
Johnson.
No, he's mine.
Well, again, it all depends on what kind of offense he wants to run.
Is it like we're looking in the mirror when you guys are looking at each other?
Yeah, it does.
That's a good looking man right there. You need to take some notes, Sean.
And
it's funny.
Or Kellen Moore. I'll take either one, or myself as the new head coach.
Kellen Moore ain't going. I don't. Kellen Moore's not going anywhere. I'm just
hope
saying.
not.
No, he's
I
not.
hope not.
He's not
but-
even, I haven't heard his name mentioned at all.
But that's the thing. That's the best
Ben
part.
Johnson, I have heard.
But that's the thing.
Table hasn't been fun.
Kellen Moore is a dark horse
Yeah.
as a new head coach. Give me a break. They made Deion Sanders and Michael Vick head coaches in college.
No, that's a
football.
good point. Yeah.
They can make Kellen Moore a head coach. They get
I'm sorry.
every opportunity.
If the Giants call and they want to interview him, and he blows away the interview,
Yeah.
But that's a
Did you
problem.
say dead horse?
Can't beat a dead horse these days.
You know what that's from? You know what that's from, right?
God, I can't remember. It sounds familiar though. I can't remember.
All right, one more time. Think small room. Think college movie.
Oh, Animal House. Animal House.
Yeah.
As soon as you said college,
The freeze frame of the horse.
the horse. But like I said, I really had a great time with you guys, man. I really hope to do it
Good
again.
man. Thank you.
Again, the knowledge of football with you guys is just the amazing conversation. I definitely kept my mouth shut because I love to hear everybody talk. Because I take it all in, and then that's when I speak.
There were 7 of us, so that helps too.
No, but you know what? But again, it's just everyone had their knowledges. They knew what to talk about, how to talk about it.
Yeah.
Everyone brought up their points about Eli. I took it like a man. I didn't say, I didn't say fuck you guys. I said, yeah, you're right. There's some points, but there's some points I had.
Slavey, I will tell you, I agree he should be in because if Kurt Warner can get in on less yardage, less touchdowns, less Super Bowls, then damn well right Eli should get in there.
Yeah.
And Kurt was at first ballot, right?
Yes. Kurt was first ballot. And I think that's the only reason Eli's going to make it because of the Kurt Warner situation. But also, he did edge his brother on 2 Super Bowls prior. Peyton had 1. Eli had 2. Just a little known fact. And he did
and the one Super Bowl that Peyton won wasn't. Peyton was done at that point. He was throwing. He was like a rubber band.
Yeah, and also he did beat Brady not once but twice in a Super Bowl. And that's my only claim of fame. It's just we beat Brady twice and ruined their perfect season. That's the only claim I have.
Yeah.
There's ice here.
There's ice right here. All right, dude. We're gonna thank you guys so much. We're gonna call it a show.
Thanks a lot for coming on. This was great. Thanks.
No problem.
Sports says we'll see you guys next Friday night. Mike, you gotta do this.
Wait, I'm back. Wait, ready? Penis out.
All right, the podcast is done. Alex, thanks, man. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
No, listen, I enjoyed it. Like I said, no joke, man. I guys, I had a lot of fun with this.
Awesome.
It was really cool because it just you guys, the knowledge of football was just unbelievable. So
it was fun,
conversation.
This went kind of how I thought it would go. Like I was there a part of me I was worried. I was like, man, I don't know. I know how you were. Like, I talked to you for an hour and a half or whatever. And I know how Eric is. Eric's more of a laid back dude. So I was like, all right, it'll be all right. I was more worried about Al. I thought, no, I'm kidding.
Listen, I just like I said, I had a great
I knew
time.
how Al was going to be too. So I wasn't that concerned about
I really, again, as a Giants fan, I really am pulling for the Eagles. I am going to say that.
Man,
I really hope Barkley brings you guys the championship. All right, Carter.
So do we.
What do you say? Yeah, the Fields
I'm
of
just-
Giants coaches or OCs who became first-time head coach. Dude, you started McAdoo. I forgot about Ben McAdoo.
He's the one who benched Eli for Geno Smith.
That fucking guy. Oh my god, that dude was such a.
Him with his fucking hair.
Dude, first of all,
I loved him when he was a bum. I loved him when he was a bum because he brought the Giants to victory. Then once he won, he went with that stupid slick Gordon Gecko hair wannabe.
Yep.
Gordon Gecko.
I got to tell you, the only head coach in recent memory with a mustache that actually has success is Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Anyone else that has a mustache, like that fucking asshole for Atlanta that went to Pittsburgh, that
Arthur Smith.
Oh my! I fucking hate that guy. Like just the face. He looks like he stinks of marbles.
So does Dan Campbell at this point. I used to love Dan Campbell. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of like
he looks like he stinks of bourbon.
Like with this fucking guy. No,
With his chewing tobacco.
down. If we go down, we're gonna break your kneecaps on the way back.
And you know what? People are looking at Sirianni the same way.
Right.
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 So
yeah, I'm
I
kind
get it.
of. I'm a little bit.
I'm
a little
Dan
worn
Campbell.
down. Like
I'm starting to lose. Like
a little bit. Like not totally, but a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Starting to rub me the wrong way. Like, come on with this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you look at the shitty head coaches after Tom Coughlin brought the Giants to what they were. Once Coughlin, there was Coughlin time. There was no bullshit like it's going on. There wasn't hip hop music being played.
Yeah.
On the practice field, it was just practice.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I wouldn't be playing that crap. We're practicing. Music should not be being played during fucking practice.
Remember Chip Kelly was doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were like, our fucking idiot media was like, oh, what songs are gonna play next? Oh, Chip Kelly's bringing this. He's making it really loud.
The
Like,
Eagles do it now, though.
yeah, but nobody gives a shit about it.
Yeah, but that's the problem, though. I think if you're practicing, not for nothing, when you do it in double sessions, you should be concentrating on the team, not the fucking music. That's me. I guess call me old school because I never believed in that. You're listening to music before a game. I totally get it.
Especially when it's Bon Jovi and Kiss.
That's why coaches,
Nickelback.
old school coaches, not the in particular, but coach like them, like Parcells, would never make it in today's game.
No, the players are too soft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The game has changed from now to what it was in the 80s and the in the 90s and the early 2000s. I mean, I hate this whole helmet thing. I get it. Listen,
guardian cat.
Yeah,
I don't mind that.
Listen, not for nothing. If you can't take a hit, get out of the game. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Listen, give me the old school.
It's true.
football.
You're playing football and it's a risk, and
This
you
is
know.
football.
Yeah.
I've gotten injured in football. I've had a torn MCL in football as a lineman. I played with it too. On top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I played through so much pain. I've broken my fingers. Here's a great example right here.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had bad back now at 45. And I will say, I will not trade anything again for that. I traded all for one more game.
Yeah.
With my brothers. Okay. Granted, I didn't get a chance to play college ball, but I'll take a chance to play college ball one game and say I did it. But you know what? I ended up coaching the high school team. I ended up doing a lot of coaching. I won a state championship with them.
Nice.
And, and I say this, I watched the game. I love the game. And if I had an opportunity to coach college in any way, I would do it. And if I had an opportunity for the NFL, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because then I could prove to people that I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
I mean, listen, everyone says I'm just I'm a Joe Schmo coach, couch coach. But when you're calling out what the offense is going to run before you even see the defense, there's something special.
Said about that. Yeah.
I mean, when I see the line leaning forward, it's a freaking run. When they're leaning back, it's a pass. When you see him leaning in the middle, it's a play action pass. You don't know where you're going to get.
Yeah.
But can you see that on the field?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can read listen, I've watched hours and hours of films. I broke down teams. I broke down plays.
Defenses are calling out plays before they run it. You know, and that's why the
That's
quarterbacks
what
are
happened to
audible.
the Eagles last year.
That's why the Eagle, that's why you're audible, and that's why I mean.
I remember even in high school, I would study film for hours on these players. You know what I mean? What's their habits? What's their tendencies? What's their first play in every game? I would look at. So great example, state championship in high school. I looked at 11 games of this one team who's won multiple state championships. Their first play was power I right twins. And it's a run right up the middle, like a blast. Okay. And I said, Coach, and then this is the head coach of varsity, and I'm a nobody. I just said, listen, every start of the game, they run this and they get 30 to 40 yards plus the touchdowns. Stack it to the right, audible it. Once you see it, if there's twins right, audible to the left, to that right side, heavy, and you're going to stop them. What do? They actually listened. And boom, fumble, run it back for a touchdown.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But those are the things. Like, I love doing that. Like, I could literally sit watching a Giants game and saying, "Ah, shit, here we go again." I could literally call it before it gets thrown, or the plays run. I could just tell.
Well, that's the thing with we're joking around about Arthur Smith, joking around about the way he looks, but the thing is with Arthur Smith is that he has these tendencies that are so predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Every game, I'm telling you right now, watch any Steelers game. The first play of the game is to run to the right side.
Yeah,
they run to the right side every single game. He starts off and just wants to feel out the line. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but he does the same shit over and over and over. That's why their offense is so stale.
Yeah,
and they just lost all the time because that dude's that dude's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Oh, that's the thing. Me, I grew up. I'll be honest with you. I grew up on the pound and ground line. I didn't believe in the pass. I believed in pound and pound.
And as a lineman, you love that more than the pass. Like, you love run blocking.
I love hitting people. I love pulling and running over a defensive end or a middle linebacker or even a corner. If I'm coming at you, you better get out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
Because I will pancake the living hell out of you.
That's what they say. Like, the offensive line loves running the ball. Like, they're like that. Kelsey used to say, I want to run the ball. Like, because I love that shit.
I love it. I love, you know what? One thing is, like, listen, granted, I know high school is totally different than college and totally different than the NFL. But one thing my mentality is if you're going to beat me. But I remember this. When I had a chance, I played in the state championship against this one team, undefeated always, St. Joseph Hamilton. Probably one of the best. I would say they were like the Eagles of fucking lines. They had linemen that were 6'7", 330 pounds. I was 6'2", 280. So I'm looking at these monsters. I'm like, yep, I gotta get my game face on, because you have to figure out how to beat them.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You know what? You could be 6'2" and 280, and you could be 6'7", 350 pound lineman. But if you get under those shoulder pads and you're moving your feet and you're moving them, you're doing it right.
Yep.
If you get a stalemate, you're doing it right. But if you're getting pushed back, like I see some linemen do sometimes, you're doing something wrong. That means your footwork sucks. I mean, I look at the Giants as a great example. Some of their offensive lines steps are horrible. That's one thing. Like, I take pride of the line tremendously. Granted, I said I never got a chance to play college ball or ever got to do that, but I take pride of the line. We never get the glory, but everybody knows who gets who really moves the. It's always the quarterback.
Line. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, you kind of want the line. You felt bad because the line wanted that so bad.
Yeah,
Did you hear what what Saquon and Hurts did for the offensive linemen?
Yeah,
they got the golf carts.
Golf carts, yeah.
Yeah, actually, our buddy Mark, who chimed in earlier, was driving down the Pennsylvania Turnpike and saw them delivering the carts. He drove by the flatbed trucks. He's like, "Why do they have players' names on? What the hell is this?" And then they looked it up and they're like, "Oh shit!"
I'm going to give Daniel Jones credit for what he did for the Giants' offensive line for them.
That was actually really cool.
He didn't have to do that, but he did it because he loved the offensive line. Listen, I thought Daniel Jones, how they did him dirty was the wrong thing to do, and that's a Joe Shane thing again. It wasn't a John Mara, even though that's how they're playing it off. That's a Joe Shane and Dable thing. Listen, when we drafted Daniel Jones in the number 6 pick at that year, it was that or what the hell, Josh Rosen.
Oof.
Okay. Not for nothing, I had the better pick.
Daniel Jones was the better pick. Yeah.
Daniel Jones was the better pick than Rosen.
But then to put him at safety in practice, it was like,
yeah,
his time. This is
You
a
don't-
slap in the face.
Yeah, it just
They put him at safety?
Yeah.
In
the,
practice.
the last practice he did before they cut him. Now,
It's like, I'm fucking done. Like, get me out of here.
just cut me because listen, the Giants just saved $24 million in cap because of that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Drew Lock is not the answer. Neither is Tommy Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets.
Okay, and him and that leprechaun, his freaking leprechaun agent.
Yeah. God,
I hate that guy with a passion. Listen, as a Giants fan, I like Tommy. Listen, I think he's a decent quarterback. He did good in college. He did good by the Giants last year. I totally get it. He took a beating in that one game, and again, the offensive line didn't play. But as a coach, I would be so pissed at my O-line, and that's where it starts. It's
a fucking joke.
All right, well, I got to hit the road, man.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah,
man.
we're gonna get ready. Yeah.
This was a blast. Thanks for coming on, man.
Listen, anytime, guys, let me know. I'll definitely come back. I don't mind
Yeah, it was fun,
returning.
man. It was a good time.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for jumping on, man.
No problem. I appreciate it. And guys, take care and good luck with the playoffs. All right.
Thanks, brother. Thank you, man.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
All right, talk
Thanks,
to
Alex.
you.
See you.
Talk to you.
Bye.
See you, twin.
Later, twin.
I was gonna tell Eric, who'd be a great free agent pickup for them this offseason?